Hey, 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 Mago Day. I think we're gonna bring the music just a little bit here. There we go. Hello, hello. How is everyone doing? I am hot off the. Well, I guess not hot off the plane anymore, but I got back from Reach. Uh, I got back from Reach a little later than I expected to. I'll say that much. There was some delay on the tarmac, to say the least. Why are my expressions not working? You cannot avoid the scuff. One moment. Unplug it, and plug it right back in. We'll see if this does the trick. Nope. Which means the problem's with me. Let me unme myself. Here. And re-me myself. There I is. There I is, with my full range of beautiful expressions. Fantastic. Yeah, oh boy. Where to start? ReachConf was a absolute blast. It was so much more than I expected it to be. I was kind of, I mean, not, this is on me, not on Reach. I was just kind of expecting it to be a bunch of, like, Christian streamers hanging out, having a chat. No, this was a well-organized and well-executed, event that, had a lot of, big names attached to it. There was one of the actresses from the Chosen. I believe her name was Catherine Lidstone. She plays Mary Magdalene. Yes, Mary Magdalene. No, not Mary Magdalene. Mary, sister of Martha. Not to confuse those two. There's a lot of Marys. Then there was Caitlin Glass, who is a like big name anime voice director and voice actor. She did the voice direction for Solo Leveling recently. She is Winry Rockbell in pretty much all of the dubs of Full Metal Alchemist. And just like their perspectives as Christians in the industry was like fantastic to get. It was um how should I put this? Like I was not I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be the conference that it was. I mean, it was a conference, and that was in the name. I was expecting kind of a convention where, people were bouncing ideas off of each other, creators were meeting together, collabing, etc. But this was and again, I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, this was a well-organized event on a campus that had a bunch of breakout rooms for different activities. At one point, there was a massive D&D campaign going on that was, I think they expected 50 people to sign up. They had 80 people sign up, and they could only run 60 people, which means they're going to need more D&D room next year. I would have signed up for D&D myself, but I looked at that, and I said, I play a lot of D&D, and I bet that this thing that's going to start at 10 p.m. and says it runs till 1 is going to run till, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the afternoon. And it did. And everybody that played was having a blast, but I was there to make connections. I was there to hand out business cards and meet a bunch of new people and walk around a convention floor and exchange stream info, exchange stream ideas, and I did. I met a lot of people. I had a lot of really good conversations. And I am just absolutely sold on the idea of Reach going forward. I am so sold, in fact, that I'm going to be making the effort here to be a Reach partner next year. And what that means for you, my loving and loyal audience, is that I will have to be streaming twice a week as best I can. And I think I can make that happen. I think I can make that happen. I have a convergence point happening in my scheduling here where I'm going to be freed up from a lot of the things that used to kind of take up my time. And as we kind of discussed in the debut, Rainai is my mechanism for utilizing my free time well, and utilizing my free time in a god-pleasing way. So that's what we're going for there. So expect, hopefully, to see me twice a week. Because I'm going to be putting in the effort. Let's see, other things about Reach, or any questions about Reach. Let's see, other notable things about. Challengers of the Realm, a new up-and-coming, TCG, Christian designer, man, those filler words are coming in when I'm just ad-libbing, huh? Let's monitor that speech. Let's have a more presentable presentation for the audience. Maybe just think a little more about what we say. There's the again. We'll get over it. We'll get lots of practice in these coming months, I think. But Challengers of the Realm, new TCG, very very interesting. What I really like about Challengers of the Realm is that unlike your Magic the Gatherings or your Pokemons or your Elijah, TCG stands for Trading Card Game. Think your Magic the Gatherings or your Pokemons or your I'd make the comparison to Yu-Gi-Oh, but Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't actually have a resource system, so the point I'm about to make kind of falls by the wayside there. But the idea with Challengers of the Realm is that unlike playing your mana or playing your energy in the Magic the Gathering or Pokemon, you are trading off your ability to draw cards. And that's a really interesting tension that I don't see in a lot of other trading card games that has me interested to see where they go as far as game design. Yeah, what else? But that was like, we played the first event of that, more or less, the first physical tournament, or if not physical tournament, the first physical tournament of that at Reach, which was super cool. There were a lot of things happening at Reach that were the first time things happening. Riff and Aristella did there are a couple other, Riff is a VTuber, I believe Aristella's a VTuber as well, but they are also both, composers and musicians, and they both did a debut performance of one of their songs that is now up. I can dig up the links in a moment here, or probably when I go on break. But there was like a debut song from those two, which was fantastic. They gave out little ribbons as commemorative merch. There was, what else was new or like first time? There were several games on demo by Christian developers that have not been on market and have not been on demo elsewhere. So you're playing those for the first time at this conference. I guess all this is to say, if you can get out to Reach next year, you should. I'm getting a phone call. One moment. I'm back. Sorry about that. It could have been urgent, but it was not. So we were just the recipient, the caller in question wanted me to know about highway conditions. I'm sitting in a chair in my home. I'm not all that worried about highway conditions at the moment. Yes. Okay. Other thoughts on Reach before I kind of stop stalling for time and kick us off in Bible study, which is where. Well, I don't know if Bible study is going to be the meat of this stream, but it is. I'm probably. I'm not more excited about Bible study than I am about the part that follows up Bible study, but let's see. Anything else on Reach? Anything else on Reach? You know what? Let me put out the blast real quick to servers that I am live here, in case we want to attract anybody else before Bible study. How you doing, Elijah? Do keyboard sounds count as avoiding dead air? Question for the philosophers, that one. Man, the latency on YouTube is fascinating. Fascinating decision. That's neither there, though. That's there. Trying to compose a piano sonata. So compose a sonata yourself. You've only got a couple motifs put together now, but have you composed sonatas before? Have you composed pieces before this? Or is this your, this your first composition? And if you have composed pieces before this, where can I listen to them? Because that sounds amazing. Okay, we've put out our blast to anybody that's looking to listen or watch. So, yeah, let's continue this conversation about. And I guess in the meanwhile, like, what does your composition process look like? Sorry, that's a lot of questions for you, but you are presently my only chatter. So I gotta engage with my friends and fans here. But yeah, all in all, Reach was an absolutely fantastic experience that I think I'm going to look back on in 5 years and say that was a bit of an inflection point in my streaming journey, in my willingness to commit to streaming as something more than just a hobby, I suppose. Reach was a movement, and that became very, very clear to me throughout the weekend and became incredibly clear to me I believe it was Friday night when we had worship, and I just did not have my voice the following day. It was a fantastic experience. You've sketched a few things down before, but they're only about a minute long. This would be your first stab at a large-scale work. Well, I'm rooting for you, bud, and I'm very, very excited to see what comes out of that. If you ever want to, yeah, bounce whatever you want to bounce off me. I'd be willing to listen to, because, man, there's just something different about music composition, as opposed to other forms of art. I don't know. I don't do a lot of I don't do composing myself. I usually am just kind of slapping lyrics or something, poems over an existing track, but I don't know. Music kind of brings, and again, this is your thesis that I have not yet cracked into, but music really brings the person together in a way that I don't, like, the whole creative person together in a way that I don't think a lot of other art forms necessarily do. Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to gush about Reach before kicking it over to a study of the still in Ecclesiastes. And being Ecclesiastes, I think it's done with Ecclesiastes because Ecclesiastes is just so much fun. It's such a, I don't know, man. It's really, really, there's something about just the tone of Ecclesiastes, of it's wisdom literature, and it is wisdom literature, like, in a sense, Job, but it's not a narrative. It's just a guy being really sad about where his life has gotten him. And I guess you wouldn't expect that kind of perspective from the Bible. That's like that is, yeah. Yeah, I'd love, absolutely, send me a little snippet. Okie doke. I think, without further ado here, we're, what, 15 minutes in, give or take, since I've graced us with my voice. I think we are just about ready to kick into our Bible study here. So, let's make sure that I'm not going to reveal any information about myself. I don't think I am. And pop on over to Bible study. Alrighty. So let's fix that, huh? Let's fix the fact that Chad is hiding behind the words of Solomon. Chat box, there it is. Let's scoop you. Ecclesiastes time indie. Ecclesiastes time indie. Alrighty. So, before I kick into anything, including kind of the rundown here, I think I'd just like to pray. So, if you bow your head with me, close your eyes. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for this time that I've been able to set aside to go through your word. Anybody who's out there willing to listen, Lord, but honestly, it's just great to be able to dive into your word, you and me, and, nerd out over what you've put in front of me, over your revealed wisdom that you have handed down through time in this text that, is a guide, is a way to gain perspectives of, if not godly men, men who you put, and women, sorry, if not godly individuals, men and women who you have put in these situations throughout this narrative in history to give me an understanding of your broader purpose for creation, your broader purpose for humanity. So as we dig into the words of the preacher here, Lord, I want your words to be in my mouth. I want my insights to be your insights, and I just I want to have a rip-roaring time going through a book about a guy who's super duper depressed. And Lord, I pray these things in the mighty name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Oh no. Oh no, the chat. I need to fix this chat. Hello, Mr. Zatorsky. Yes. I believe actually there is a... Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to make this chat smaller. Yeah, that's going to fix it. There we go. Yes. Okay. Gotta catch them all indeed. I actually do believe there is a YouTube channel out there that does like the mapping of Catholic saints to what Pokemon they would have, and it is some entertaining content. I'm not gonna lie, it's very interesting. But yes, the Bible and Pokemon, that's kind of my shtick for the time being, Mr. Zatorsky. That is kind of my shtick for the time being. That is the content I expect to be putting out for the next couple weeks or months. And we will see where that goes. But it's the things I know and am comfortable in. Which is not, I don't know if that's a descriptor I would have given myself even like a year and a half ago. So praise be to God for that. I was definitely comfortable with Pokemon a year and a half ago. All right, so without further ado, let's give a reading of our... I'm just going to read the whole thing straight through, and then we'll go through passage by passage. All of those little post-it notes you see are notes that I made on my read-through. I think some of them are a lot higher quality than others. I do believe one of them just does say limit testing, but we'll see about that. But before we get into my notes and my insights, we're just going to give this a good old read-through top to bottom. This is the word of the Lord. I said in my heart, come now. I will test you with pleasure. Enjoy yourself. But behold, this also was vanity. I said of laughter, it is mad. And of pleasure, what use is it? I searched with my heart how to cheer my body with my heart still guiding me with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the children of man to do their head, few days of their life. I made great works. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. I made myself gardens and parks, and planted in them all kinds of fruit trees. I made myself pools from which to water the forest and trees. I bought male and female slaves, and had slaves who were born in the house. I had also great possessions of herds and flocks, more than any who had been before me in Jerusalem. I also gathered for myself silver and gold, the treasure of kings and provinces. I got singers, both men and women, and many concubines, the delight of the son of man. So I became great, and surpassed all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained with me, and whatever my eyes desired, it did not keep from me. I kept my heart from no pleasure, for my heart found pleasure in all my toil, and this was my reward. Then I considered all that my hands had done, the toil I had expected, and behold, all was vanity and striving after the wind, and there was nothing to be gained from the sun. So I turned to consider wisdom and madness and folly. For what can the man do who comes after the king? Only what has already been done. Then I saw that there is more gain in wisdom than folly, as there is more gain in darkness. The wise person has his eyes ahead, but the fool walks in darkness. And yet I perceived that the same event happens to all of them. Then I said in my heart, what happens to the fool will happen to me also. Why then have I been so very wise? And I said in my heart that this also is vanity. For of the wise as of the fool there is no enduring remembrance, seeing that in the days to come all will have been forgotten. How the wise dies just like the fool. So I hated life, because what is done under the sun was grievous to me. For all is vanity and striving for wind. I hated all my toil, in which I toiled with the sun, seeing that I must leave it to the man who will come after me. And who knows whether he will be wise or fool? Yet he will be master of all for which I toil, and use my wisdom under the sun. This also is vanity. So I turned about, and gave up my heart to despair over all the toil of my labor under the sun, because sometimes a person who has toiled with wisdom and knowledge and skill must leave everything to be enjoyed, by someone who did not. This also is vanity and a great. What has a man from all the toil and striving apart of which he toiled in the sun? For all his days are full of sorrow, and his work is a vexation. Even in the night his heart does not rest. This also is vanity. There is nothing better for a person that he should eat and drink and find enjoyment in his toil. This also, I saw, is from the hand of God, for apart from him who can eat or who can have enjoyment. For to the one who pleases him God has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he has given the business of gathering and collecting, only to give to the one who pleases God. This also is a vanity and a striving wind. Alrighty, so did we notice any motifs or any repeated phrases there? I believe in this is Ecclesiastes 11 chapters. I'm learning this tool. My goodness. Ecclesiastes is 12 chapters. So I believe in the 12 chapters of Ecclesiastes, the preacher, who I tend to hold to the school of thought that the preacher is in fact Solomon. There are some who hold to the school of thought that the preacher is someone using the guise of Solomon to, make a point. I don't know. I don't see that. I see a man reflecting at the end of his life of who is rightfully depressed after all of the very poor decisions he made, despite being very wise. But that's neither here nor there. In the 12 chapters of Ecclesiastes, I believe the word vanity, and we did hit this at the end of the last stream. Find me a vanity. Should not be hard. Vanity, the Hebrew for that is Hoenn, is breath or like vapor. It can also be used for idols. I like the translation futility more than vanity. Vanity feels like, I think I kind of noted on this, vanity feels more like there is some sort of pride or some sort of belief that what is going on is, how should I put it? Vain. Like you are so vain, you are so conceited. Vanity carries with it a connotation of conceit. I like more for this translation, and we'll see if I can get a. Well, right now I'm running out of ESV. That's what came packaged with. Oh, this is Logos Bible software, by the way. Super duper cool. If you can afford it, it is on the. I mean, it's not. It is not a resource that I would have been able to pick up when I was a student, and I will leave it at that, and I will leave any considerations of price to anybody that is looking at it themselves. But this tool is. It effectively auto-hyperlinks any biblical verse references that you've got. You can just kind of right-click on a verse and get the breakout of the Hebrew or underlying Greek. You can, if I wanted to pop over to the Strongs for this right now, let's see. I can throw that tab there. Yeah, but, and I just downloaded this before stream because I've committed to wanting to use it, but this is a very, very powerful tool that I don't fully know how to use yet. I've just figured out the notes function and some of the hyperlinking, but I can see that this is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I can understand being a Logos advocate. I am a Logos advocate, despite the fact that I don't understand any of its features yet. You can link back and forth between books into text. You can link text to text. You can, again, just right-click something and immediately get the Hebrew. I was going off on a different tangent before I went off on this tangent. I like, over vanity, I like futility. Because vanity has a connotation of, to me at least, as the English speaker, as the American English speaker that I am, vanity has a connotation, denotation? No, connotation. Vanity has a connotation of conceit, a connotation that the actions being performed are being performed out of self-respect or out of a inflated sense of self, whereas futility just, speaks to the fact that the actions being performed, the acts being described are futile. They are not going to come to any meaningful or any productive end. Yes. There's that on what I prefer for translation there. I do really like the Hebrew, Hebel. It means, vanity. It can mean idols, which is great because, worship of an idol is vanity in and of itself. You are pointing your worship, you are pointing your beliefs at someone or something that is not the creator of the universe and the ultimate end of all human works, but breath, vapor. The idea of it is this transient thing, right? It is there one day and it is gone the next. It's not going to persist. And this is a different breath than ruach, which is like the I always get ruach and nefesh confused, but one of these is like the animating breath of life, and one of these is the soul is how we translate it. That's a different rabbit hole. I think nefesh is soul and ruach is like breath or animating principle, but that's a word study for a different time. Suffice to say, I like the idea of vanity, of this word as vapor, as something that just is there and kind of evaporates. So, with that kind of Hebrew tangent, and I'm sure we're going to go into some more Hebrew tangents or some Hebrew learning as we are going further into this stream. With that out of the way, let's dig into the notes that I made for this read. We'll start with the first here. So, I guess that's Hebrew right there. So, where were we? Shouldn't have clicked it. I should have covered it. So, according to the Bible, so this term heart here, heart as a Hebrew would understand it is like not being used in the same way that we would use it as English speakers. So we use heart, generally speaking, as a bit of an idiom for our feelings, for the our emotions, our instincts almost, the things we yearn for, the things we want, etc. When the Hebrew use of heart is that it's the center of all operations of the human. So you would do your thinking in the Hebrew world. You would do your thinking out of your. Okay, so every time I switch expressions, we lose the. That's a good thing to know. So in the Hebrew world, you would do your thinking out of your heart. They didn't have a conception of like thoughts coming out of the head, and I don't know. I like that idea more. That the core of humanity is not our thoughts versus our emotions, or our emotions versus our thoughts. It all comes from that same central place, and that's true now as well, right? Emotions don't actually come out of our hearts, but we have this linguistic separation that you don't really find in Hebrew, in the Old Testament. So when Solomon is talking about, and I'm going to call him Solomon, even if people want to disagree with me that it is Solomon, he is very clearly, at the very least, wants us to think he is Solomon. When Solomon says, "I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with pleasure, enjoy yourself," this is like a thought out plan he is making for himself. This is not a I want to have pleasure. I feel like I want to have pleasure. No, this is him saying, here's the plan. We are going to see what we can do with pleasure here. We are going to see what we can get from pleasure. And then let's see. Yep. Okay. So my next note here. But behold, this also was vanity. Yep. I have that. So the little spiels I'm going off on, the little tangents I'm gonna go off on from time to time. Half the time, I have those prepared as notes, but I'm gonna read through my notes again because they help with the flow I wanted to take us through the passage. So here, but behold, this also was vanity. This is going to become a running theme throughout the book. The preacher is going to use vanity 38 times throughout the book. I've got my little note about futility. I've got my little talk on Hebel. So we already covered all of that. Yes. Okay. So I said of laughter, it is mad, and pleasure, what use is it? I search with my heart, and again, I search with my being. I search with my reason. Right. I search with that which makes me human. How to cheer my body with wine. My heart still guiding me with wisdom. So, what is interesting here is that Solomon is talking about, Solomon is talking about something that I think we don't actually talk about all that often in Christian circles. Solomon's talking about, I think here, he is drinking. I do not think he is drinking past the point of drunkenness. He is getting on that, that edge, that celebratory, that euphoria you start feeling when you've got some alcohol in you, but have not really lost it. Because he is following up here with my heart is still got wisdom. So Solomon is starting his search into pleasure with the thing that everybody since forever has known is the thing that gives you immediate pleasure, and that is drinking alcohol. So that's kind of his start here. But he goes, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the children of man to do under a few days of life. So, I mean, this reads to me as he is figuring out, you know, the correct amount of silliness, the correct amount of exuberance, the correct amount of joy, right? What's good for us to do during the few days of our lives. He's not talking about going overboard. No, we can talk about how overboard Solomon went in a bit here, but he is talking about, I've got in my notes here, limit testing. He is talking about how to grasp hold on folly while still being guided with wisdom. How to have that perspective of, what is good, how to discern between what is good and what is bad, while still seeing what you can get out of folly, what you can get out of silliness, what you can get out of, letting loose a little bit. Hydrating, sorry. And then we're going to go into this section here. I made great works. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. I made myself gardens and parks and planted in them all kinds of fruit trees. I made myself pools from which to water the forest of great trees. I bought male and female slaves and had slaves who were born in our house. I had also great possessions of herds and flocks, more than any who had been before me in Jerusalem. I also gathered for myself silver and gold and the treasure of kings and provinces. I got singers, both men and women, and many concubines, the delight of the son of man. So, I want to actually... So, this is underselling. For sure. And I actually want to pop on over into Kings, where we get a little more of a description of the wealth of Solomon. So we're going to pop out from our Bible study of Ecclesiastes into a bit of Kings. And look at that hyperlinking. Isn't that cool? I can just throw a different verse in my notes and click it and hop right there without having to navigate through menus. It's fantastic. I'm going to get so much use out of this software. But I do want to read this chunk here. And when we kind of come across scripture for the first time and want to give it the reverences due, we say, "This is the word of the Lord," and go. Now the weight of gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 666 talents of gold, besides that which came from the explorers and from the business of the merchants, and from all the kings of the west, and from the governors of the land. King Solomon made 200 large shields of gold, 600 shekels of gold went to each shield. And he made 300 shields of beaten gold, 3 minas of gold went to each shield. And the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. The king also made a great ivory throne and overlaid it with the finest gold. The throne had 6 steps, and the throne had a round top. And on each side of the seat were the armrests and 2 lions standing beside the armrests. While 12 lions stood there, one on each end of a step, on the 6 steps. The like of it was never made in any kingdom. All King Solomon's drinking vessels were gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of gold. None were of silver. Silver was not considered as anything in the days of Solomon. For the king had the fleet of ships of Tarshish at the sea with the fleet of Hiram. Once every 3 years, the fleet of ships of Tarshish used to come bringing gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. Thus King Solomon excelled all the things of the earth in wisdom. And the whole earth sought the presence of Solomon to hear his word, which God had put into his mind. Every one of them brought his present, articles of silver and gold, garments, myrrh, spices, horses, and mules, so much year by year. And Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen. He had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen, whom he stationed in the chariot city with the king of Jerusalem. And the king made silver as common in Jerusalem as stone, and he made cedar as plentiful as the sycamore of the Shephelah. And Solomon's import of horses was from Egypt and Kuwait, and the king's traders received of them from Kuwait at a price. A chariot could be imported from Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150, and so through the king's traders they were all exported to all the kings of the Hittites and the king of Syria. So, I actually want to map break real quick here, and I did not prepare a map, so give me 1 second. I should be able to find what I'm looking for. But suffice it to say, Solomon is rich. If we adjusted Solomon's wealth to today, he would, given taking the biblical count straight up and counting, the wealth that the Bible attributes to Solomon to Solomon's personal wealth, he would be a trillionaire. That is trillion with a T. The amount of wealth that Solomon was sitting on is enormous. Absolutely insane. Anything that Solomon wanted, Solomon got. And I want us to keep that in mind as we continue our study through Ecclesiastes here. Okay, I'm gonna get my map. Map break. tab. Perfect. And you'll have to forgive me. We're just going to have this in a browser window. Little bigger. So, the important thing I want to note about ancient Israel is that you've kind of got your big empires, you've got your other big kingdoms, your other big players. You've got Egypt over here, you've got Assyria up here, and you've got the Arabian kingdoms down here. So if you want to get trade going, if you want trade kind of happening in the Near Eastern world, you are more or less going through Israel to make that trade happen. And when you are going through Israel to make that trade happen, you are enriching the kingdom of Israel as you make that trade happen. So Solomon has effectively this entire strip of, the place that you need to go between to get from Egypt to these other kingdoms. And again, these are our big players. Solomon's got this under his control. So he brings goods in, he sends them out all through this kingdom. He is at the crossroads of the ancient world. Trade happens through Israel. Israel is plop right there in the center of the world. And obviously I don't believe in coincidence, as we, use the word commonly, but that's not a coincidence that Israel is there at the center of the Middle East during this time. It is, but all that is to say that Solomon is the wisest man in the world, Solomon is the richest man in the world, and Solomon is sitting smack dab in the middle of where all trade goes through. So he is in a position of power that I don't really think we have a great modern analog for. Solomon was more or less had a say in how the known world functioned. A big say. Yeah, there's our quick little map break. But you will notice, after we talk about Solomon's great wealth, we immediately hit Solomon turning from the Lord. And I'm not going to go through that. I think we know that story. Solomon had a couple flaws, but his big one was how many women let's just read it. It's a good story, and we got time. This is the word of the Lord. Now King Solomon loved many foreign women, along with the daughter of Pharaoh, Moabite, Ammonite, Edomite, Sidonian, and Hittite, from the nations concerning which the Lord had said to the people of Israel, "You shall not enter into marriage with them, neither shall they with you, for surely they will turn away your heart for their gods." Solomon clung to these in love. He had 700 wives, who were princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away from his heart. For when Solomon was old, his wife turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not wholly true to the Lord his God, as was the heart of David's father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the stones, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. So Solomon did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, and did not wholly follow the Lord, as David his father had done. Then Solomon built a high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, and for Molech, the abomination of the Ammonites, on a mountain east of Jerusalem. And so he did all for his foreign wives, who made offerings and sacrifice to their gods. So, Solomon is recorded as one of the, if not the wisest mere humans in biblical history. And God was well pleased when Solomon asked him for wisdom. But turns out that you can be as wise as you want, but if you are entangling yourself with this many women and letting them, speak to your heart and letting them, have their let's not get in trouble with what we were going to say there, but we get the idea. It's going to have a detrimental effect on your soul. It is going to cloud your judgment. It is going to darken your intellect. It is going to turn you away from the Lord your God. I mean, a massive chunk of the book of Proverbs, also penned by Solomon, speaks to the dangers of the adulteress, speaks to the dangers of, chasing after women whose hearts are not after God. And Solomon had... Did we get a number in here? Yeah, Solomon had 700 wives and 300 concubines. That is 1,000 women who Solomon, in some way or another, gave his a heart to, right? And we have warnings from Paul later in Scripture, that having one wife makes it more difficult to focus, truly on the Lord. Now, obviously, marriage is an amazing thing. Marriage is a blessing. Marriage is something anybody that has, that does not have the gift of celibacy should be striving for. But it splits your focus, right? You are marriage is a covenant. You are devoting yourself to someone. And when you have 1,000 other individuals, 1,000 ladies that you are getting entangled with, that is going to split your focus. And in the case of Solomon, I don't think there is I don't know if there is any man alive who would be able to keep their focus fully on God. But in the case of Solomon, his fall is particularly bad in that he is setting up, altars to these foreign gods. And I mean, let's see if we can get a little bit. I mean, what do we know about Milcom? An Amalek guy worshipped by human sacrifice. What do we know about Molech? An Ammonite god worshipped by, it's a little out of frame there, guess what? Human sacrifice. Chemosh, the chief god of the Moabites. And, oh man, what do we have on Chemosh? Let's see if we get a little more on Chemosh. Okay, this tool rocks. So Chemosh, something went wrong. Try again. Okay. Maybe I have to scroll back my excitedness. Oh, no. Okay, so Chemosh was also a deity of the Moabites, and was a detestable idol, found throughout the, who is called out in the books of, well, I believe it's in the prohibitions against worship found in Exodus, Deuteronomy, and Leviticus. But yes, the Solomon was, for all intents and purposes, the individual who brought Chemosh worship, brought this foreign god worship into God's chosen people, Israel, and that's going to cause a lot of problems down the line. But I'm getting ahead of myself and getting a little too far down this route. Let's pop back on over to Ecclesiastes, and let's keep that context in mind of what Solomon's wealth was and where that and his love of women kind of ended him up. All being said. Ready? Coolio. So, moving right along. Where were we? Yes, we just covered all of Solomon. So I became great and surpassed all those who were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. And whatever my eyes desired I did keep from them. I kept my heart from no pleasure, for my heart found pleasure in all my toil. And this was my reward for all. Then I considered all that my hands had done and the toil I had expended in doing it, and behold, all was vanity and a striving after the wind, and there was nothing to be gained from the sun. So, I want to note kind of after verse 9 here, Solomon's gone off the rails, but he has not forgotten the mission statement. He has retained his wisdom. He is keeping his wisdom with him. He is, the rhetorical point he is making as he is going through is, hey gang, I was never not trying to understand, I was always trying to understand the full extent of human experience. Now, did he do some absolutely detestable things, we find out? Absolutely. But the common scholarly take on the book of Ecclesiastes is that it was written near the end of his life, after, if not repentance, after at very least reflection on what had been done. That is, of course, if Ecclesiastes was written by Solomon himself, but I think that's a video or a rabbit hole for another time that I don't really want to go down during this study. Yes, but he is, at the very least, for the sake of the rhetoric here, what Solomon is doing is trying to find the limits of human experience, find where there is meaning at the extremities of what we can do as people on this earth. And the conclusion he comes to, no surprise, is that he considered all that his hands had done and the toil he'd expended in doing it, and behold, all was vanity and a striving after wind. There was nothing to be gained under the sun. Note open here. So, the houses, the gold, the silver, the silver, by the way, which was as common as stone in Jerusalem, which is always a description I just love focusing on. the precious metal of silver, something that was highly valued in the ancient world, it's as common as stone. That is how rich the kingdom of Israel became at this point. Yes, but not that, not gold, not silver, not his houses, not those thrones made of ivory, not all of these ladies, not these women, nothing, nothing under the sun. This guy was loaded. This guy lived in the center of his world, and the conclusion he has come to is all of it's meaningless. There is no value, there is no meaning in any of this whatsoever. Which, I don't know, is that's a powerful statement. Again, when someone gives us a statement, when someone tells us something, the first question we usually should ask is, are they in a position to actually know anything about that? And I would argue, given Solomon's credentials, the answer is yes, absolutely. So when this is, again, he is in a position to know, to get his hands on anything he thinks might make him happy. And he is making the definitive statement that all of it is vanity. None of it makes him happy whatsoever. And I don't know, that's a very powerful conclusion to come to. We're going to switch up our backing music. I think we want a fresh break in the sound. I did not do an audio test stream, but I feel like I will if things sounded not as great. Go. Yeah. No worries. Oh, you'll be playing for a church service in a few weeks. We were talking about how absolutely loaded Solomon was, how Solomon could get his hands on anything he wanted, any good, any lady, anything. We did a brief dive into how hard Solomon fell off in god worship with setting up foreign idols, but the point is Solomon could get his hands on literally anything he wanted that he thought would make him happy. And the conclusion he came to was that that too was all vanity and striving after the wind, and that there was nothing to be gained under the sun. But yeah, you should absolutely play for church servants in a couple weeks, but I have a feeling you probably said yes. So, moving along here. So, Solomon turned to consider wisdom and madness and folly. Got a note here. So for what can the man do who comes after the king? I love this. This is one of my favorite, it's a hashtag humble brag, right? It is, hey, you just read the past paragraph and the accounts from Kings and Chronicles. You know how absolutely loaded I was. What can the man do who comes after the king? And the answer is only what has already been done. Solomon's making the claim here, and, I'm not necessarily poised to disagree with him, that there's not much anybody else can push for in terms of finding the limits of human experience. He had it all. But I just love the I don't know, maybe I'm just projecting onto it, but this feels so smug, man. Then I saw that there is more gain in wisdom than in folly, as there is more gain in light than darkness. The note I had on this was, this is probably the perspective that kept Solomon from losing it. Like, kind of falling apart. The understanding that wisdom is the correct choice over folly. That there is goodness in the discernment itself. That the act, all of these acts of pushing for, the ends of human experience. All of these acts of, his mission statement, his thesis, his quest for discernment in itself has value. I think without that, and without the conclusion we're going to come to at the end of this chapter, which, we're going to get there, and if I'm sure, I am sure it's more or less obvious already, but I think the idea that there is something to be learned, there is some discernment to be done, is that's something that if I were hitting this depression at the end of my life, after having tested out all of these things, that's at least something I could fall back on for a, touch or a tidge of sanity myself. Yeah, the wise person has his eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. So this, what's the verse? I should have linked this, but I didn't have the most time. Give me just a sec. Uh, we'll find it quick. Up. Note for myself later. And then let's just pop over. I don't know for sure, but I recently was doing a little bit of study on this verse, this parable out of Matthew, or not parable, teaching. Um, the eye is the lamp of the body. Oh, sorry, this is the word. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? And what this is what this is talking about in the Hebrew is let's see if this will. I need to get into and whatnot. So, but we'll do the basics of the teaching and come back to it because I'm already running a little long on this. But not that I'm necessarily beholden to any time constraints. I am a freelancer. But the point of this passage is the eye, right, is what takes in the world. So the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. This is talking about a concept, and I do not have the Hebrew or the Greek to articulate it at the moment, but I'll come back with it at a later date. This is talking about a concept of a good eye or a bad eye. So this is talking about in modern common terms. This is talking about whether you have a positive or negative outlook on things at a base level. So if your eye is healthy, if you see the good, if you have the theological virtue of hope through circumstances, your whole body will be full of light. You will be a lamp. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of darkness, right? So if you've got this approach of optimism, dare I say, if you have this approach of looking at the world and seeing the good in, yes, thank you, yes, good eye, bad eye. Okay, I'm not just talking out my butt here, but if you're approaching the world with this philosophy of optimism, right, you are going to be you're gonna be a more pleasant person to be around, right? We all have that friend who is just consistently in the drags, and nothing against that person. There's a lot of evil in the world, right? There's a lot to be upset about. But if you can have that perspective, right, that understanding that God is in control, God is sovereign, and God is working creation together towards God's end, then you are going to be a more positive person. You are going to be a light. You are going to be full of that. And then obviously the darkness. So I'm wondering here. Sorry, that's a lot on that. But I'm wondering here if there is and I'll have to actually dig into it more. I did not have the connection, the time to kind of see if there was a deeper connection here. But the wise person has his eyes in his head, but the fool walks in darkness. I wonder if there is a connection between this concept of the good eye and the bad eye and this statement that Solomon is making here, because it kind of seems like Solomon in at least in the passages we're in right now has more of a bad eye, has more of that pessimistic outlook, but we'll get a little into that more as we get further into the book of Ecclesiastes here. So, but that is to say, as soon as he's kind of made that statement, and yet I perceive the same happens to all of them. Then I said in my heart, what happens to the fool will happen to me also. Why then have I been so very wise? And I said in my heart that this also is vanity. For of the wise as of the fool there is no enduring remembrance, seeing in the days to come all will have been long forgotten. How the wise dies just like the fool. So I hated life, because what is done under the sun was grievous to me. For all is vanity, a striving wind. So, the point Solomon's making here is the wise man and the fool are both going to, shocker, die. They are both destined for the same place, the grave. The wise and the fool both end up dead. And I'm not going to go on my whole Sheol spiel here and what the Israelites thought about death or what their understanding of what happened to a person when they died was. But like the point Solomon is making, everyone's going to the dust to dust, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? To the dust you will return is one of the first things that that is the curse that Adam, through his disobedience, put on all of us. That thankfully, thank the Lord, God had the mercy to reverse, to redeem in his son Christ, right? With the resurrection. But in his understanding of vanity, right? In his understanding of this futility of life, the point he is making is whether you are foolish or whether you are wise, you are going to die. What's done under the sun is done under the sun, and it happens, and then it is over. I want to elaborate on that with more here. I hated all my toil in which I toiled in the sun, seeing that I must leave it to the man who will come after me, and who knows whether he will be wise or a fool. Yet he will be the master of all for which I toiled, and used my wisdom under the sun. This also is vanity. So, through the wonderful magic of hindsight, we do know who comes after Solomon, and I'd like to do a little bit of reading about him, because he was, well, we'll see. This is the word of the Lord. So this is Rehoboam. This is Solomon's son. So Rehoboam went to Solomon, for all Israel had come to Shechem to make him king. And as soon as Jeroboam the son of Nebat heard it, for he was still in Egypt, where he had fled from King Solomon, then Jeroboam returned from Egypt, and they sent and called him. And Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and said to Rehoboam, "Your father made our yoke heavy. Now therefore lighten the hard service of your father and his heavy yoke upon us, and we will serve you." He said to them, "Go away for 3 days, then come again to me." So the people went away. Then King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men, who had stood before Solomon his father when he was yet alive, saying, "How do you advise me to answer to this people?" And they said to him, "If you will be a servant to this people today and serve them, and speak good words to them when you answer them, then they will be your servants forever." But he abandoned the counsel of the old men and took counsel with the young men, who had grown up with him and stood before him. And he said to them, "What do you advise that we answer this people who have said to me, 'Lighten the yoke that your father put on us'?" And the young men who had grown up with him said, "Thus you shall speak to this people who said to you, 'Your father made our yoke heavy, but you lighten it for us.' Thus you shall say to them, 'My little finger is thicker than my father's thighs.' And now, whereas my father laid on you a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions." So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam on the 3rd day, as the king said, "Come to me again today." And the king answered the people harshly, forsaking the counsel that the old men had given him. And he spoke to them according to the counsel of the young men, saying, "My father made your yoke heavy, but I will add to your yoke. My father disciplined you with whips, but I will discipline you with scorpions." So the king did not listen to the people, for it was a turn of affairs brought about by the Lord that he might fulfill his word, which the Lord spoke by Abijah the Shilonite to Jeroboam the son of Nebat. And when all Israel saw the king that did not listen to them, the people answered the king, "What portion do we have in David? We have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Look now to your own house, David." So the answer to the question of who is going to follow up Solomon's act, is it a wise or a fool, is a fool. And the passage we just went through is, well, that's the start of a lot of troubles, a lot of troubles that are eventually going to split the kingdom of Israel into two, into Israel and Judah, as well. And it's never really gonna be that golden age of David and Solomon again. Well, except for a guy kind of way down. But so it's a fool that follows it up. And what I kind of want to also stress there, given that we looked at the wealth, right, the opulence of Solomon's reign, is that that had an effect on the people. That was not all just, sunshine and rainbows and everything is great in King Solomon's Israel. The production of all of that wealth, all of that, I would argue, and I think many would argue, unnecessary opulence for what should have been what should be God's kingdom of priests, had an effect on the Israelites. It did not sit well with them. It made them miserable to generate that much wealth. Um, so the fact that Rehoboam comes around and says we are going to, double or triple that is not great for the prospects of keeping a kingdom together, it turns out. But yes, that's just, little tangent, because I like, when we get questions answered in the Bible, rhetorical, or asked in the Bible, rhetorical or otherwise, I like seeing if there are answers elsewhere in the Bible, and in this case, it's literally just a little hop through biblical history. But, moving right along. So I turned about and gave my heart up to despair over all the toil of my labors under the sun, because sometimes a person who has toiled with wisdom and knowledge and skill must leave everything to be enjoyed by someone who did not toil. So Solomon is, saying, kind of making, again, the point, you can't take it with you. You are going to go to the grave, and your possessions are going to be of no value to you when you are dead. He's on top of the world. He had, again, everything he could have wanted. Everything he could have grasped. Anything that he thought could make him happy. And it's nothing. It is striving after the wind. It is futility. It is vanity. It is, nothing to him. It did not get him... It gave him despair. He was on top of the world, and he is given into despair. Yeah. This bit right here. So this also is vanity and a great evil. So he is talking about everything to be enjoyed by someone who did not toil for it. This also is vanity and a great evil. So I find it interesting here that he's making a moral pronouncement, right? It is evil that we are not going to live to see the full extent of what we've accomplished in our lives, and that's somehow, it's somehow wrong that we do all of this work, we, build up what we intend to build up, we do our labor under the sun, and we don't enjoy it past the point of death. But, like, that as a moral pronouncement is a bit of a thinker, until I kind of take a, step back and look at the bigger story, right? Let's step all the way back to creation. The original state of creation, right, is that we were supposed to work the garden, as we being mankind. We were supposed to work the garden. We were supposed to exercise the dominion over the world that God's given us. We're supposed to enjoy the fruits of our labor for God, with God, for eternity. We're not meant to die. So the point, this claim that this also is vanity and a great evil is one, I think, of a greater theological sense than just, being upset that you're not going to get to enjoy the things you made after you die. No, there is something wrong with the fact that we die. We are not supposed to die. We are supposed to work the earth and enjoy enjoy that work with God, for God, forever. Yeah. What has a man from all the toil and striving of heart with which he toiled in the sun? For all his days are full of sorrow, and his work is a vexation. What's the Hebrew there? Vexation, offense, to be vexed, to irritate, to grieve. Oh, I love that. Yes, his work is a... How do you say that? Kas. To be... his... Oh, man. I don't know. Something about the word vexation is just... It rolls off the tongue. It feels like what it is. I know there's a word for that, when a word feels like what it is, but yeah. Even in the night, his heart does not rest. I mean, who has those sleepless nights? This also is vanity. There is nothing better for a person that he should eat and drink and find enjoyment in his toil. This also I saw as from the hand of God. So apart from him, who can eat or who can have enjoyment? And this right here is the thought that's tying it. This is our key verse. The preacher is not saying that there is no value in anything we do. He's not saying that enjoyment is meaningless. Creation is good, and the enjoyment we get out of creation is good. But what he's saying is that there's no meaning in anything apart from God. And with that established here, that's going to be important framing for the rest of the book of Ecclesiastes. He is despairing not over the futility of life, not over the meaninglessness, the vanity, the hevel of life. He is despairing over the choices he has made in his life apart from God. For the one who pleases him, God has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he has given the business of gathering and collecting, only to give to the one who pleases God. This also is vanity and striving after the wind. and I don't want to expound too much on what's not necessarily in the text there, but for the one who pleases him, God has given wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he has given the business of gathering and collecting, only to give to the one who pleases him. So if we are, rolling under that broader theological perspective, right, that the you're not taking it with you when you die, um, but every human alive is contributing something usually to the state of creation, is developing it in some way. Then this has a broader meaning just than what is happening in the lives of the one who pleases God versus the sinner. Um, and that is to say, the the one who pleases God is given wisdom and knowledge and joy, and furthermore, expounding past the state of resurrection, is going to be able to enjoy fully enjoy their labor with no termination of death looming, versus the sinner who is going to not have that ability, to put it lightly. So the person who is not pleasing to God, the person who is not angling their life towards God. So, and again, I think I might be reading a little too much into the text there, but it's just a thought that occurs to me as we are developing past that thought on the idea that it is evil, it is wrong. There is something incorrect about the fact that we are not going to be alive forever to benefit from the toil and labor that we do within creation. Okay, so that's Ecclesiastes 2. That's my thoughts. Yeah, I think I need to take a quick break here. We're gonna take a probably 5 minute break, and we'll be coming back with some pocket monsters. And Elijah, you are going to be discipled in the way of the Pokemon Master, if thou art still here. Alrighty, be right back, or should I say, ah, right. Alrighty. Let's pop back here for now. Hello, Heaven's Door 777. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for the lurk. Sorry I was on break as you popped up. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Starfall. Yes. We are just going to be chatting here for just a moment as I get a couple other things put together. But once we have that happening, we're hopping straight into some, what I am calling a Logoslocke. So, actually, I guess we can probably explain rules here. Rules? Yes. So, a Logoslocke is like a game, is like a normal playthrough of Pokemon, with just a, with a standard Pokemon game. In this case, we will be using Pokemon Emerald as our game, with the following rules. In that only the first Pokemon encountered in a given route or area can be caught. If a Pokemon faints, it goes to Shale, the grave. It will remain in the grave for the remainder of the run. Permadeath is on. When I let a Pokemon faint in battle, it is gone, and I'm not getting it back. I do not have the... I lack the ability to redeem it. Or resurrect it, rather. Additionally, no items may be used in battle. So no potions, none of that noise. The only thing we can do in battle is switch, or flee if it's a wild encounter, or, fight. as was intended. And then a couple more rules. These are the quote-unquote, the rule set we are using here is called a Nuzlocke challenge. It is effectively a way that experienced Pokemon trainers tend to make games difficult. Oh, perfect. Elijah, we'll give you the run-through on my time. Okay, so, Logoslocke. This is a rule set I am imposing over a playthrough of Pokemon Emerald. I've done a couple funky things to this copy of Emerald, which we'll cover as I open the game, but effectively, these are the rules that we are laying on top that the game is not going to enforce for us. We're going to have to do it ourselves, and that's this. So only the first Pokemon encountered on a given route or area may be caught. What this means is we're going to have a limited pool of Pokemon, of little soldiers, that we're going to have available to us throughout the run. We can't go out and catch new friends, whatever. We cannot go out and get new Pokemon. We have a limited set of Pokemon for a given area until we move on and, open up more encounters. If a Pokemon faints, it's going to Shale. This is the grave. It's going to be there for the remainder of the run. So, not only do we have this limited ability to catch guys, but once we lose guys, we lose those guys forever. Furthermore, we can't use items in battle. We can only fight. We can only flee. We can only, switch. That's kind of our options. Additionally, so those are kind of standard rules for what's called a Nuzlocke challenge. And a Nuzlocke challenge is a way of playing Pokemon. There's a huge community out there for it. It's a way of playing Pokemon that adds some difficulty on top of, the standard Pokemon game, which, to be frank, for anybody that has played a Pokemon game more than 2 or 3 times is too easy. Additionally, we've got the kind of hardcore rules, which is no items can be used in battle, and any Pokemon that's going to reach a level higher than the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon, so, think of gym leaders as area bosses. And I know what their highest level guys are. And if any of my guys get over-leveled, for those guys, it's not going to be challenging if I use those in this portion of the game. So they have to be set aside until I beat that gym leader, until I've cleared that boss, effectively. And finally, all caught Pokemon must be given scriptural nicknames. And this is where I think we're going to have a lot of fun. Because we are going to, as a chat, as we're streaming here, we're going to try and find names from the Bible that fit the guys that we are picking up, and I'm really excited about the setup I have for that. So, without further ado, we can pull these rules out later, if anybody has any questions. Let's see if everything I set up is going to work properly, or if we are going to go through a scuff nightmare real quick. Come on. Big money, no whammies. Big money, no whammies. It's just working. Yes! So we are not going to use game audio because I'm going to be on my perfectly legal copy of Pokemon Emerald that I am playing and streaming from my perfectly legal Game Boy Advance hardware. I have made some allowable changes to my hardware such that I can make the game go a little faster if I press certain keys. And we're just going to leave it at that, and not say anything more on the topic. But that makes the audio a little wonky. So we're just gonna be using our standard background music. In fact, let's switch it up real quick. And I will get my music situation figured out a little better before next stream. I only have so much time before each stream. But yeah, without further ado, let us begin our journey. Perfectly legal. They're absolutely 100%. Please recognize my control. Is this where the scuff comes in? I think this might be where the scuff comes in. There we go. Alrighty. So I've made a save file, and we'll talk about that in a second. But we're not gonna go through the mundanity of grinding in this run. Is what I will leave us to. Is what I will say about that for the time being, and we'll get a little more. We'll get a little more specific on that in But for my part, I don't think grinding makes all that great a stream experience. So we have just moved into a new town. We are the gentleman on the left there, and that's our mom. We're here, honey. It must be tiring riding with our things in the moving truck. Well, this is Little Root Town. How do you like it? This is our new home. It has a quaint feel, but it seems to be an easy place to live, don't you think? And you get your own room, Renai. Let's go inside. See, Renai? Isn't it nice in here, too? The movers Pokemon do all the work of moving us in and cleaning up after. This is so convenient. Renai, your room is upstairs. Go check it out, dear. Dad bought you a new clock to mark our move here. Don't forget to set it. Alrighty, clock. Let's go over to actually, let's change a couple settings real quick. Text speed fast. Scene on. Let's say battle style set. Babies. Shift and set. Real quick. This is another difficulty setting that I forgot to set before stream. But effectively, if you are in shift mode when you are playing, the game is going to tell you what the next Pokemon that the enemy is going to send out is, and allow you to make a switch to better advantage yourself. And I don't like that. I want challenge. I want my guys to be in peril of death. So we're going to go set, which is you do not get that advantage. Sound doesn't matter. Button mode's good. Let's find a fun frame. Is there like a brick one? I think yeah, I like the bricks. Ooh. Yeah, that's what the Celestial Shepherd theming. Fantastic. Okay. Alright, so let's check our clock. What is my B? That's my A. That's my B. Ignore the bag. Don't worry about it. Perfectly legal. The time we set here doesn't actually matter, but for accuracy's sake, let's set this to the proper central time. And I am old enough to know how one of these clocks work. / educated enough. I have run into a lot of people recently that do not know how to read the clock. Alrighty? Renai, how do you like your new room? Good. Everything's put away neatly. They finished moving everything in downstairs, too. Pokemon movers are so convenient. Oh, you should make sure that everything's all there. Your desk. No. It's good. We're good, Mom. Brought you this report from in front of the Petalburg gym. Oh, it's over. I think Dad was on, but we missed him. Too bad. So our dad is a member of the Petalburg gym. Okay. Father has a friend named Professor Birch who lives next door. We should go over and introduce ourselves. So this is... Wow! This is not my mother's house or my father's house. This is Renai's house, baby. Let's talk... Yeah! Okay. What else we got? Is this the guy that says the funny thing? If you use a PC, you can store items in Pokemon. The power of science is staggering! Professor Birch spends his days in the lab studying, then he suddenly go out in the wild to do more research. When does Professor Birch spend time at home? Maybe Professor Birch doesn't spend time at home, and maybe that's a problem for Professor Birch. Maybe Professor Birch is married to his job. Hey, it's Professor Birch's wife. Oh, hello, and you are? Oh, you're Renai, our new next-door neighbor. Hi. We have a daughter about the same age as you. Our daughter was excited about making a new friend. Our daughter is upstairs, I think. Okay, let's go talk to your daughter. Oh, she has a GameCube. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh, a Game Boy Advance. Just like the one I am legally playing this game on, is plugged in to serve as the controller for this GameCube. Awesome. What time is it? Wow, it's 7:30 p.m. over here, too. Awesome. Hey. Huh? Who are you? Oh, you're Renai. So your move was today. I'm May. Glad to meet you. I had this dream of becoming friends with Pokemon all over the world. I heard about you, Renai, from my dad, Professor Birch. I was hoping that you would be nice, Renai, and that we could be friends. Oh, this is silly, isn't it? I've just met you, Renai. I mean, to be fair, May, I am just in your room. I did just walk up into your room. So, I'll take it. I'll take the friendliness. Oh no, I forgot. I was supposed to go help Dad catch some wild Pokemon. Renai, I'll catch you later. It's May's Pokeball. Better leave it right where it is. So thank goodness I'm respectful. Alright, let's get up. What do you do? Pokemon fully restored. Items ready again. Okay, she's a better trainer than I am. Fantastic. What's up, lady? That's May. I guess our child is too busy with Pokemon to notice that you came to visit Renai. Nah, she blabbed at me. She yapped. Don't worry. So where is the professor then? Huh? Professor Birch? The prof's away on fieldwork. Ergo, he isn't here. Well, thanks, buddy. Oh, let me explain what fieldwork is. It is to study things in the natural environment, like fields and mountains, instead of in the laboratory. The professor isn't one for doing desk work. He's the type of person who would rather go outside and experience things to read about them. Okay, cool, great. So he's up in the field? Is the field... Hi. There are scary Pokemon outside. I can hear their cries. I want to go see what's going on, but I don't have any Pokemon. Can you go see what's happening for me? Sure. Hello, you over there. Please, help! In my bag! There's a Pokeball! Thanks, HeavenStore777. I don't think I'll ever not enjoy this game. Alright, so there are Pokeballs in this bag, and we are going to hit the first little hiccup in this, or first little thing I've set up in this run-through of Pokemon Emerald. That is, I completely legally own and am playing off my perfectly legal Game Boy, and that is that these are not normally the 3 Pokemon you would find in these Pokeballs. We have done a little bit of randomization of the tools available to me to make this a bit more of a challenge, because were I given the standard tools for this, the game would be too easy. The game would just be too easy. Thank you, HeavensDoor777. It is by the illustrious Frog Pollen. She is a Christian artist and VTuber herself. I should probably have a link to her on my channel somewhere, which I will get up at some point, once I've gotten myself a little more established here. Thank you. I really appreciate the compliment, and thank you for stopping by. Fantastic. Good. All good here. Alrighty, so, our choices are the Slacker Pokemon Slackoff, which would be... That would be an interesting choice, to say the least. Or the Poison Pin Pokemon Nidoran Female. Or the Rock Pokemon Geodude. Do we have any opinions from chat? I don't... I kind of want to... Oh man, that'd be really funny. Oh man, let's see. My heart, which we established earlier in Bible study is not distinct from my mind necessarily, is calling me towards Slackoff, which, man, might make these first couple fights difficult, is all I am going to say. But, oh man, I will. Thank you, Heaven's Door. Really appreciate it. Thanks for swinging by. Oh man. Is that good content? It really depends on if I get another good guy or not. No, Elijah, I want to, like, just on vibes alone, Elijah, this guy, this gal, or this guy. And actually, I know this one's a gal. I'm not sure what either of these are yet, until we send them out into battle. I want vibes, Elijah. You're here. Make the call. I'm good enough at Pokemon to where I can steer this, I promise. That's a Raineye reassurance and a Paragonic promise. All of these are fun. When do I get a... I guess that's a question for a later date. It's a question for some research. Alright, if I don't see some input in a couple seconds here. Vote for the gal? On vibes, first one? Okay. We've got a split decision. Do I have a coin flip I can do? You know what? Let's do the Slackoff. We're taking the Slackoff. That's where my heart was calling me to. You will note, we can see our party automatically update. Yes. Alrighty, let's go. A wild Togepi has appeared. What is this wild Togepi going to do to me? It would be really funny if we just kind of wiped right here. Oh my goodness gracious. Alright. Where is my chat? 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 There you are. Alright, here we go. Let's make this happen. Let's tackle a Togepi. I hope I have moves. All right, Slackoff. What do we got? We have Scratch and Yawn. We're gonna press Scratch. So, gang. Okay, see? Okay, that's good damage. That's good damage. So, the problem with Slackoff, everybody, that I just want to express here, that we are going to see, is that every other turn, he does nothing. She does nothing. This gal does nothing every other turn. That's, that's her detriment. So we are on, quite literally, hard mode of hard modes. Okay, that's still respectable damage. But every other turn, this gal is loafing around. Ain't that great? Woo, I was in the tall grass studying wild Pokemon when I was jumped. You saved me. Thanks a lot. Oh, hi, you're Renai. This is not the place to chat, so come back to my Pokemon lab later, okay? It's now later. We are back in his Pokemon lab. So, Renai, I've heard so much about you from your father. I've heard that you don't have your own Pokemon. But the way you battled earlier, you pulled it off with aplomb. I played this game when I was like, what, 7? And it taught me so many words, and aplomb was one of the first ones it taught me. And like, that's a good word! That's a good word for a Pokemon game to teach you! I guess you have your father's blood in your veins after all. Oh yes, as thanks for rescuing me, I'd like you to have the Pokemon you used earlier. Renai received the Slackoff. While you're at it, why not give a nickname to that Slackoff? Alright, gang, and now we get to the portion of the stream I'm most excited about. Hello, Ian Long. Welcome. Thank you for coming to the stream. You, no worries if you can't stay. We're just having a ball over here. We are just getting started with what I'm calling a Logoslocke of Pokemon Emerald, which is like I don't know if you're familiar with a Nuzlocke, but if you are, it's like that, except we have to very explicitly, name our things with, out of scripture. That's what we're going with there. So let's move chat over just a little bit, so I'm a little less in front of it. But you know what? It overlays over me just fine. But yeah, so we have to find a gal in scripture, that we want to attribute this, as a, this Slackoff's name to. So we are, we're kind of thinking about slackers. We're kind of thinking about, low energy. We're thinking about maybe even, I don't know, the types of gals that might pull someone into slacking themselves. Any thoughts? Any ideas? I've got one off the top of my head, but I do want to make this a chat involving experience. So I'll take suggestions for sure. In the meanwhile, I'll try and figure out exactly where the gal I'm thinking of is in scripture, in case we don't have other ideas. Yet. Things make sense. Yeah, okay, there we go. Alright, I'm giving Chad another minute here to give me suggestions, otherwise I'm gonna hop over and read some scripture to give our protagonist her name. What a protagonist she will be, as well. And I'll take anything. So hit me up, and we will make the narrative work. Don't you worry. Alrighty. I'm gonna pop on over to, well, you don't gotta be creative with names, Elijah. You just gotta know your scripture. That's the fun bit here. So we're gonna pop on over to Judges 16. And we are gonna get some info on the gal we're gonna name this Slack author. This is the word of the Lord. Samson went to Gaza, and there he saw a prostitute, and he went into her. The Gazites were told, Samson has come here, and they surrounded the place and set an ambush for him all night in the city. They kept quiet all night, saying, let us wait till the end of the morning, then we will kill him. But Samson lay till midnight, and at midnight he arose and took hold of the doors of the gate of the city and the 2 posts, and pulled them up, bar and all, and put them on his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill in front of Hebron. After this he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, seduce him, and see where his great strength lies, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him and humble him. And we will each give you 1,100 pieces of silver. So Delilah said to Samson, please tell me where your great strength lies, and how you might be bound, that one could subdue you. Samson said to her, if they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, then I shall become weak like any other man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now she had men lying in ambush in the inner chamber, and she said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson! But he snapped the bowstrings as a thread of flax snaps the fire, so the secret of his strength was not known. Then Delilah said to Samson, behold, you have mocked me and told me lies. Please tell me how you might be bound. And he said to her, if they bind me with new ropes that have not been used, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. So Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them, and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. And the men lying in ambush were in an inner chamber, but he snapped the ropes off his arm like a thread. Then Delilah said to Samson, until now you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me how you might be bound. And he said to her, if you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web, fasten it tight with the pin, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. So while he slept, Delilah took the 7 locks of his head and wove them into the web, and she made them tight with the pin, and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he awoke from his sleep, and pulled away the pin and the loom of the web. And she said to him, how can you say I love you, when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times, and you have not told me where your great strength lies. And when she pressed him hard with her words day after day, urged him, his soul was vexed to death. There's that word vexed. And he told her with all his heart, and said to her, a razor has never come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If my head is shaved, then my strength will leave, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. When Delilah said that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up again, for he has told me his heart. Then the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hands. She made him sleep on her knees, and she called a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head. Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. And she said, ooh, that should be in front. Oh, we have a new follower, and I believe that says FS Pluver. Let's move that to there. Sorry that your join was behind the chat box there, but we are just finishing up the portion of scripture with which we will name my... Yes, awful, I know. We are just finishing off the portion of scripture which we are using to name our starter Slackoff for our Emerald Logoslocke. Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. And she said, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. And he awoke from his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. And the Philistines seized him and gouged out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with bronze shackles. And he ground them at the mill in the prison. But the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. It is, this Slackoff is our starter. And it also, I would say, is, for the time being, binding us with some shackles of our own. Therefore, we are going to name her Delilah. L-I-L-A-H. Let's keep that Phoebe in the pocket, by the way, Elijah. I do think we will certainly have chance to use it as we pick up more friends on our Nuzlocke journey here. But this is Delilah, and she is our first friend. You are the gentleman, no, who has a guide for in a standard playthrough of this game, more or less just doing it with guaranteed encounters. The randomization adds a little bit of difficulty to me, and the bronze feathers that Delilah has slapped on me, I think are going to add a little more difficulty yet. So I'm excited for that. But let's pop back over to our gaming overlay. All right. If you work at Pokemon and gain experience, I think you'll make... Focus back in my here. I think you'll make an extremely good trainer. My kid, May, is also out studying Pokemon will help me out. Renai, don't you think it might be a good idea to go see May? No. Oh, don't be that way. You should go meet my kid. No. Oh, don't be that way. You should go meet my kid. No. Oh, don't be that way. You should go meet my kid. Okay, fine. I'll go meet May. Great. May should be happy too. Get May to teach you what it means to be a trainer. I know what it means to be a trainer, Mr. Birch. Mr. Professor Dr. Birch. Don't at me. Don't at me, Birch. I know. Anyway, let's move on right along. Our journey begins. I think Mother is going to give us running shoes here. No, that's after we come. All right, Route 101. So another note about, like that bit, Elijah. A note about, General Nuzlocke rules is that, oh, well, we don't have to worry about it because I walked through the grass there. All right. So here is our friend May. You know what? Just let's make this not as painful as it needs to be. We're gonna throw a couple levels on Elite Delilah. Our first level cap is randomized. Yes, cool, randomized indeed. Actually, well, we've got a couple new friends. Let's just pop those rules out real quick. Those are the rules we are operating under. I'm gonna swap up the tunes as we change that to back to the track from the Mellifluous Pulsa, which is titled Come and Play, Imago, by the way. So, our general rules, as we are playing through, that are common to most Nuzlockes, are only the first Pokemon encountered in a given route or area may be caught, and if a Pokemon faints, it goes to Shale. That's the grave, and it will be there for the remainder of the run. I don't have the power of Resurrection. The hardcore rules that makes this even more of a challenge that no items may be used in battle. I can't use potions, I can't use healing. We just kind of gotta fight, or we gotta die. And any Pokemon that reaches a level higher than the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon is not to be used until that gym leader is defeated. And our gym leader that we are dealing with here is Roxanne. Our gym leader here is Roxanne, and I believe her level is 15? 15. So we're going to throw a couple levels on our good friend Delilah here, on our Shackles Delilah here. Just so that we don't have to have as much pain going through these first couple battles. We will... Oh! Encore is a very powerful tool, which we may get to see some use for. We're going to go to 10. 10 feels good. I don't know how much use we're going to be getting out of Delilah, given her unique... There will come a point where Delilah is going to be a powerhouse for this run. Do not get me wrong. But I don't think we are there quite yet. Oh, I see. My dad gave you a Pokemon as a gift. Since we're here, let's have a quick battle. I'll give you a taste of what being a trainer is like. All right. Prepare to get jobbed, May. This is not going to be pretty. I'm a scratch you. I'm a loaf. And I'm a scratch you again. I promise, gang, things will get a little more involved once we get to those boss battles. Wow, that's great. Renai, you're pretty good. Renai got 300 for winning. But for now, we're in the early game, and the draw is getting new friends, and giving them scriptural names. You might be able to befriend any kind of Pokemon easily. Well, it's time to head back to the lab. Alright. Let's just stop and heal real quick. Thank you for healing my Pokemon. Renai, over here. Let's hurry home. Yes. It's a straight shot, May. Like, I'm not too worried. Back to the lab. Hello, sir. Oh, hi, Renai. I heard you beat May on your first try. That's excellent. Yes, with the power of grinding for experience on my absolutely legal copy of Pokemon Emerald that I am playing on my Game Boy Advance SP that I own. May's been helping me with my research for a long time. May has an extensive history as a trainer already. Here, Renai, I ordered this for my research, but I think you should have this Pokedex. Now that's going to let us catalog our guys. Pokedex and Gals is a high-tech tool that automatically makes a record of any Pokemon you meet or catch. My kid, May, goes everywhere with it. Whenever my kid catches a rare Pokemon or records its data in the Pokedex, why, May looks for me while I'm out doing field work and shows me. Oh wow, Renai, you've got a Pokedex too. That's great, just like me. I've got something for you too. Obtained the Pokeballs. Alright, and now we can catch other friends. Tools? Friends? Tools. Friends. It's fun if you can get a lot of Pokemon. I'm going to look all over the place because I want different Pokemon. If I find any cute Pokemon, I'll catch them with my Pokeballs. Yes, Fluver, I know you are of the tools school. But, over here, you know, even I guess we're giving them names of people, so they're. I gotta treat them a little more like friends, I think. You're your father's child, all right. You look good together with Pokemon. Here, honey, if you're going out on an adventure, wear these running shoes. They'll put a zip in your step. Renai, okay. Renai, those shoes came with instructions. My mother, my in-universe mother, is saying to me, press the B button while wearing these running shoes to run extra fast. I don't know what that means, Mom. Slip on these running shoes and race in the great outdoors. To think that you have your very own Pokemon now. Your father will be overjoyed, but please be careful. If anything happens, you can come home. Go on, then. Go on. Go get them, honey. Heck, dialogue could use in the past. Alright. And now, our adventure begins. Let's see what our first friend is. Oh? Oh! A Tyrogue. I think these guys are actually notoriously a little difficult to catch, so we might, we might miss out on this one, because I can't do nothing but yawn this fella. Alright. Tackle, yep. We're gonna yawn, we're gonna encore, I suppose. We're gonna tackle. Alright, we are asleep. Please. Please. Providence. We're gonna say a little prayer. Please let me catch this guy, Lord. And let's go! I don't like my chances, gang, but we shall see. Huh? Never mind! This is why we pray, gang! This is why we pray. You may have seen what he will eventually become. Alright, Tyrogue becomes stressed out if they do not get to train every day. When racing this Pokemon, the trainer must establish a regular training schedule. Alright, gang. So, it might just be Tackle until 20. Give a nickname to the captured Tyrogue. Yes, and we're going to pop on over to our naming screen. So, I need suggestions from the chat on scriptural characters that are physically fit, or have an obsession with training, or have, something that would relate to a scrappy little guy or gal. Samson is kind of right there, huh? We do have Delilah the Slackoff. Samson is kind of just right there, huh? We're already quite literally in his relative scripture. He is kind of just right there. Huh. I mean... Yeah, I like the narrative there. I like the narrative there a lot. Ooh, Peter the Zealot, though. Yeah, we could have our... Yeah, you know what? I think I... Hey, Frey, how's it going? Welcome. Oh, man. It's good to see you, bud. How's your post-Reach week been? Yeah, you know what? I think we're gonna save Samson for a later guy. I do like Peter the Zealot. And let's find that particular verse about... That is John 18. Let's pop on over to John 18. Alrighty. This is the word of the Lord. When Jesus had spoken these words, he went out with his disciples across the brook Kidron, where there was a garden, which he and his disciples entered. Now Judas, who betrayed him, also knew the place, for Jesus often met there with his disciples. So Judas, having procured a band of soldiers and some officers from the chief priests and the Pharisees, went there with lanterns and torches and weapons. Then Jesus, knowing all that would happen, came forward and said to them, "Whom do you seek?" They answered him, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus said to them, "I am he." Judas, who betrayed him, was standing with them. When Jesus said to them, "I am he," they drew back and fell to the ground. So he asked them again, "Whom do you seek?" And they said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus answered, "I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let these men go." This was to fulfill the word that he had spoken. "Of those whom you gave me, I have lost not one." Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and struck the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. So Jesus said to Peter, "Put your sword into its sheath. Shall I not drink the cup that the Father has given me?" Frey, I also got sick right when I got home. I went from sore throat from worship into into a bit of a cold. And I was weighing on whether or not I would be streaming here, but we got there. Alrighty. So, we got Peter the Zealot. That is the name of this Tyrogue here. We will keep Samson in the bank though, Pluver. Why am I not to replug in my controller, maybe? Come on, Scuff. There we go. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, Frey. Yeah, no, I'm having a blast. I'm playing Pokemon and I'm in Scripture, and those are two of my happy places, and I can combine them on stream, and that's what it's all about. All right, so we got Peter. We got in our party right now, and I think if we switch back, actually, we can see that back here. Yep, we got Delilah and we got Peter. And let's see if Pluver was correct on what moves this guy gets until 20. Pokemon, yeah, it is kind of a Pokemon Bible study. We did do a Bible study proper at the top. We were digging through Ecclesiastes, but just Pokemon is a game where you get to name things, and I do really like naming things. And if I can name things, I like naming them out of Scripture, just kind of to make it easier to communicate those truths. Hello, well, thank you for stopping in. I do appreciate the view, and don't worry about it, my friend. If you can't stay, you can't stay. I'm not, we'll you can make the streams, you can make the streams. Don't worry about it, friend. I do quite appreciate you stopping by in the first place. Alrighty. Heal up. Well, we hit level 10 and we got no moves. I do think I'm going to... Actually, we're doing a little more catching, and Delilah is our better friend for catching. So we'll leave her in front for now, and head up to Route 103. And what have we got? Is that a Magikarp? It is a Magikarp, and it is a girl. So let's start thinking on real names for a Magikarp / Gyarados, gang. I just gotta catch her first. I gotta catch her, sir. I'll check starting moves in a second, Liver. Actually, I guess I can check starting right now. Peter, what do you got? I think you just got tackle. Yep, Peter's just got tackle. He'll learn punch or sword. Actually, what is Peter's? Peter is a lax nature, which is neutral. What are we looking at? Peter is right now looking like Peter will be a Hitmonlee, which is honestly probably preferable. Because we're not gonna talk about Hitmonchan's movesets. All right, we're gonna encore that splash. Actually, we're gonna loaf, and we're to get a new friend. Hopefully, tool friend. Get a new friend. Fantastic. Alright, gang. And once again, its swimming muscles are weak, so it is easily washed away by currents. In places where water pools, you can see many Magikarp deposited there by the flow. Alright, so, with that in mind, I need women from Scripture that we want to name our Magikarp after, who will eventually become a Gyarados. Ruth. So kind of like the I like that. You've got the foreigner, the individual that is, considered by a lot of society to be low value. But you see through her faithfulness that she is actually a woman of exceeding value. I like that a lot, actually. That's pretty good. Any other suggestions? I do. Yeah. Just we'll leave that open for a bit more. I will say the Twitch chatters here have a distinct advantage because the latency on YouTube is something legendary. I still don't understand why my stream over there is probably like a good minute later than the words are leaving my mouth. It's crazy. Like I'm not sure what's happening, where it's getting bounced around on. Yeah, Twitch has pretty much zero latency. All right. We're popping over to Ruth. And let's we're gonna read a Alrighty. This is the word of the Lord. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man of Bethlehem in Judah went to sojourn in the country of Moab, and he and his wife and his 2 sons. The name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. They were, here we go, Ephrathites from Bethlehem in Judah. They went into the country of Moab and remained there. But Elimelech, the husband of Naomi, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. These took 2 Moabite wives. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth. They lived out there about 10 years, and both Mahlon and Chilion died, so that the woman was left without her 2 sons and her husband. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law to return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the fields of Moab that the Lord had visited his people and given them food. So she set out from the place where she was with her 2 daughters, and they went on the way to return to the land of Judah. But Naomi said to her 2 daughters, "Go, return each of you to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you, as you have dealt with the dead, me. The Lord grant that you may find rest, and each of you in the house of her husband." Then she kissed them, but they lifted up their voices and wept. And they said to her, "No, we will return with you to your people." But Naomi said, "Turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Have I yet sons in my womb, that they may become your husbands? Turn back, my daughters. Go your way, for I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, even if I should have a husband this night and should bear sons, would you therefore wait till they were grown? Would you therefore refrain from marrying? No, my daughters, for it is exceedingly bitter to me for your sake that the hand of the Lord has gone against me." Then they lifted up their voices and wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother, but Ruth clung to her. And she said, "See, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. Return after your sister-in-law." But Ruth said, "Do not urge me to leave you or to return from following. For where you go, I will go, and where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people, and your God my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord do so to me and more, also, if anything but death parts me from you." And when Naomi saw that she was determined to go with her, she said no more. So, I love the Book of Ruth. It is short, compact, and sweet, but it really drives home its lessons, and it drives home what Israel, and I would argue what Christians should be, and that is welcoming to that should be faithful, that should be tied to our families, showing that familial piety, but it also shows that we should be welcoming to the alien, the orphan, and the widow, to those that are on the fringes of society. The call of God is to extend his love to those that, are downtrodden in this life. So, Ruth here, just so we are clear, Ruth was married, which meant, which is kind of the goal for most women in the ancient world. They get married so that they are provided for in their lives. They are not really able to do much to provide for themselves. All of the, work at this time, all of the ability of one to provide for oneself is, mostly jobs where you benefit from being a man. So a woman is trying to get married to a man, and that's where they find their security. So Ruth here is making the conscious decision to go into a land of foreigners out of, loyalty, out of piety to her mother-in-law, rather than, take the route her sister-in-law is taking, or her sister, rather, is taking, and, go back and find a man of her own country that she could get married to and thus be provided for. So that's kind of the loyalty we see expressed in Ruth. And we'll talk more about Ruth as we, you know what? I think we'll come back to Ruth when Ruth undergoes her first evolution, her only evolution, rather. And we'll look at that a little more. But that's what we got for Ruth. So this Magikarp is named Ruth. And can I just say, gang, the friends we have so far are not particularly useful or strong tools for this first gym battle. We might be, depending on what we run into on these next couple routes, we might be in a bit of trouble. But we shall see. We shall see. All right. Back to our gaming setup. And there we have Ruth. And let's pop Ruth on up to level 10 with our perfectly legal candies that we have in our perfectly legal copy of... Yeah, these encounters, you are 100% correct, Plover. Like, these encounters past... I think most of these evolve right around the 20 mark, so if we can get past Roxanne with these guys, we are set, I think. But we're going to throw some levels on Ruth. Not that it's going to matter particularly, because she's not going to learn anything but Splash. I don't think. Maybe she learns Tackle at, like... I don't know. I'm not going to pull out learn sets right now. We're all right. All right, let's heal the party up. Can I buy more Pokeballs in this town? Because we are getting low. Actually, I should get my free potion so I can sell it for more Pokeballs. Nice. Alrighty. Sell. We are not going to sell any of the completely legal items that I have here, because that would be cheating. But we can sell the things that the game would normally have given me at this point. We're gonna buy. We're gonna buy 10. And 3 Premier Ball, and let's buy another... 13's good for now. Everything's, yeah, Brawly is a little annoying, but we can, we get like, yeah, we get a lot of encounters before Brawly, too, so. Pluver actually was was my partner on at one point, a linked run through these games, where our fates depended on each other at the things we caught. Okay. I feel like I am being taught a lesson. I feel like I am being taught a lesson with my encounters right now. I don't know what the big guy is pointing me to, but it has been nothing but it has been nothing but individuals of low value. Sorry, that's mean. But both of our Oh, this is great. I'm having a good time, gang. All right. Okay, this one's a guy. So get thinking on names. I want to give my YouTube latency folks a little room to breathe here. Alrighty. Feebas was caught. Feebas's data was added to the Pokedex. Let's pop on over to our naming overlay. Feebas live in ponds that are heavily infested with weeds. Because of its hopelessly shabby appearance, it seems as if few trainers raise it. Oh man, we got Magikarp on the last route and Feebas on this one. Alright. So we are looking for... Ooh, I've got a couple ideas. But we are looking for an individual of, you know, either shabby appearance or low value, who at a later point is going to become something quite beautiful. That would be the rough sketch. Jonah's really good, actually. I like Jonah a lot. Hey, we got 2 Jonahs. Well, Pluver, the idea, if you keep tuning into these streams, is that you're gonna learn more Bible and get better ideas. But yeah, I like Jonah. Okay. Everybody knows Jonah and the fish. Let's find Jonah's reluctance and talk about that. Okay, Jonah. I mean, I guess it's only... Yeah, I guess it's only 17 verses. We can just do it. Alright. This is the word of the Lord. Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, the great city, and call out against it, for their evil has come up before me. But Jonah rose to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. He went down to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish, so he paid the fare and went down into it, to go with them to Tarshish, away from the presence of the Lord. But the Lord hurled a great wind upon the sea, and there was a mighty tempest on the sea, so that the ship threatened to break up. Then the mariners were afraid, and each cried out to his God, and they hurled the cargo that was in the ship to the sea to lighten it. But Jonah had gone down into the inner part of the ship, and had lain down fast asleep. So the captain came and said to him, What do you mean, you sleeper? Arise, call out to your God. Perhaps the God will give a thought to us, that we may not perish. And they said to one another, Come, let us cast lots, that we may know on whose account this evil has come upon us. So they cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. Then they said to him, Tell us on whose account this evil has come upon us. What is your occupation? And where do you come from? What is your country? And of what people are you? And he said to them, I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. Then the men were exceedingly afraid and said to him, What is this that you have done? For the men knew that he was fleeing from the presence of the Lord, because he had told them. Then they said to him, What shall we do to you, that the sea may quiet down for us? For the sea grew more and more tempestuous. He said to them, Pick me up and hurl me into the sea. Then the sea will quiet down. For I know it is because of me that this great tempest has come upon you. Nevertheless, the men rowed hard to get back to dry land, but they could not, for the sea grew more and more tempestuous against them. Therefore they called out to the Lord, O Lord, let us not perish for this man's life, and lay not on us innocent blood. For you, O Lord, have done as it pleased you. So they picked up Jonah and hurled him into the sea, and the sea ceased from its raging. Then the men feared the Lord exceedingly, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord vows. And the Lord appointed a great fish to swallow Jonah. And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. Oh, man. Give a nickname to the captured Phoebus. Yes, this Phoebus shall be Jonah. Alrighty. And back to our gaming overlay. Man, this is so much fun. Alright. Let's put some levels on Jonah so that he can flee from the Lord a little more succinctly, a little more competently. Let's switch BGMs up a bit. Come back to this track though, because it's my favorite. It was made for me. Alrighty. Game. And I will get my music on a more manageable solution where it's not something I have to manually do, but only so much time per stream setup, and you know how it is. Alright, let's heal the gang up. Like, rest my pocket. Alright. Stream up. So we can that anywhere. Alrighty. Back in here. Look at my pocket monsters. Alright, we got a gang of... Well, we got a gang... Let's see how many moves we have that can actually, Hey, if you think of good ones, note them down. Have them ready. Have them ready for the next guy, because we are in rapid guy catching mode right now. So we've got of moves that can deal damage to enemy Pokemon, which I will note is the victory condition for Pokemon. We have Scratch on Delilah, Tackle on Peter, and that's it. And these are not particularly high damaging moves. We are in for a bit of a rough time, but I think we're gonna switch Peter to the front. Just because Peter does not... Peter is many things, but Peter is not a loaf. I can't say no to your challenge. That's right, sir. Alright, time to get bodied. Youngster Calvin would like to battle. That's Puchiena. Alright, Peter. Tackle him. Cut his ear off, Peter. Uh-oh. We're gonna be okay again. We're gonna make it through. Set up AI. My goodness gracious. Alright, and boom. And just like that, Peter the Zealot takes another kill. Oh man, the Zealot. I was reading about the Zealots the other day. They are a fascinating sect of Judaism from the time Christ was alive. 2 Samuel 21. Ah, yes. Yes. Okay, we will use him yet. We will use Sheba the son of Bishri yet. Freaking Benjamins. Nothing good ever came out of the tribe of Benjamin. Alright, we got this, Peter. We got this, Peter. Come on, Peter. Good stuff. We're gonna go Delilah here. Just safe. Take attack drop. Okay, so Delilah's got a little more chomp than Peter does, I think. Alright, let's pick some berries. 2 Oran berries. Oran berries can be given to a Pokemon to heal it. To have it automatically heal itself when its HP gets low. Is there an item here? No. There's one to the south. Oh. Now that would have been a good encounter. Oh, it's over there. I don't remember the game as well as I used. Oh, no. Alright, we'll be fine now. Alright, Peter. Do what you do best. Tackle him. Go for the legs, Peter. They're all Romans. Trimish. Let's go. Let's do the Delilah strat. Stretch. Oh, Delilah, come on. Stop loafing around. I ended up furthering your career. Yes, you did last time. Yes, you did. My career as a Pokemon trainer starts now. Alright. Yeah. You got a potion. Nice. That's some cash. And we're in Petalburg City. This is where Dad lives. My good dad. My friend Dad. My dad is never home. I don't know. I don't like the... I get it. I get the, you know, the fan assumption that Norman is never home and a terrible dad, but, I don't know. I like together families. if I can headcanon Norman as a good dad who moved here to you know, provide more economic stability for his family. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna buy another 10 ball. I can't afford 10 balls yet, but if I sell that potion... Nope, still short. Okay. Just need a little more cash. Want to buy him in batches of 10. That's what we get. I battled Norman once, but whew, he was way too strong. How would I put it? I just got the feeling that he lives for Pokemon. Alright. Alright. My face is reflected in the water. It's a shining grin full of hope. Me too, man. My face is a shining grin full of hope, too. Or it could be a look of somber silence struggling with fear. Nah, that ain't me. What do you see reflected in your face? The first one. Alright. Traveling is wonderful. When I was young, I roamed the seas and the mountains. I wish I'd go on an adventure with some Pokemon. Crawl through some damp grass, climb rocky, rugged mountains, cross the raging seas, wander about in dark caves, and sometimes even get a little homesick. It must be fabulous to travel. Well, go travel, lady. What's stopping you? They're just giving Pokemon away down the road. Alright, let's see what Dad has to say. Hey, Dad. Well, if it isn't Rainai, so you're all finished moving in? I'm surprised that you managed to get here by yourself. Oh, I see. You're with your Pokemon. Then I guess you're gonna become a trainer like me, Rainai. Yeah, Dad, just like you. I want to be a trainer just like you. That's great news. I'll be looking forward to it. I'd like to get a Pokemon, please. Oh, right. You're Wally, right? I'm gonna stay with my family I'm gonna go stay with my relatives in Verdanturf Town. I thought I would be lonely by myself, so I wanted to take a Pokemon along. But I never caught a Pokemon before. I don't know how. I see. Rainai, you heard that, right? Go with Wally and make sure that he safely catches a Pokemon. Wally, here, I'll loan you my Pokemon. Wally received Zigzagoon. Oh wow, a Pokemon. I'll give you a Pokeball, too. Go for it. Wally received a Pokeball. Oh wow, thank you. Rainai, would you really come with me? Well, yes. Interesting. So, sorry, gang. Just want to take a quick break here. The software I'm using to track my party and kind of have that update on the bottom of the screen here, that's PokeLink. It is really cool and kind of automates party tracking and whatnot. So that I don't have to, manually update the display every time I catch a new guy, or swap my party order, or pull somebody out of the box. Super duper cool, right? But it's checking the underlying, Pokemon. It's checking the underlying data structure that is telling me what Pokemon are in party. And what we'll notice here is that Peter has been replaced with the Zigzagoon that Dad, quote-unquote, just gave to Wally. So under the hood in the game, what is happening here is the first Pokemon in my party has been stored somewhere else in memory other than, the first slot of my party, because the game needs a Zigzagoon in the first slot in the party in order to make what's about to happen. And I just think that's neat. Okay, anyway. Pokemon hide in tall grass like this, don't they? Please watch me and see if I can catch one properly. Whoa! Alright, what is Wally's, It's a Ralts. Wild Ralts appeared. I'm not playing the game. Wally is, under the guise of teaching me how to catch Pokemon. Wally is trying to catch Pokemon himself. Well, good job. Wally, you caught a Ralts. Rainai, thank you. Let's go back to the gym. So, did it work out? Thank you. Yes, it did. Here's your Pokemon bag. Rainai, thank you for coming along with me. You two are why I was able to catch my Pokemon. I promise I'll take really good care of it. Oh, my mom's waiting for me, so I have to go. Bye, Renai. Bye, Renai. Now, Renai, if you want to become a strong trainer, here's my advice. Head for Rustboro City beyond this town. There you should challenge the gym leader, Roxanne. After her, go to other Pokemon gyms and defeat their leaders. Collect badges from them, understood? Of course, I'm a gym leader too. We'll battle one day, Renai. But that's only after you become stronger. See? Dad wants me to grow. Dad wants me to succeed. This is not Dad just sending me off so he doesn't have to deal with me. I refuse to subscribe to that notion. Okay, store our Pokemon. We're all set. Let's put Delilah back in front because we're about to go look for another friend. You must be Renai, right? Thank you for playing with Wally. He's been frail and sickly ever since he was a baby. Poor Wally. We've sent him to stay in with my relative in Verdanturf tonight. The air is a lot cleaner there. It's here. What's that? Where's Wally? Oh, he already left our... I wonder where he could have gotten to by now. Oh. Nice. Alright. Oh. Excuse me. Let me guess. From the way you're dressed, you're a Pokemon trainer? Well, maybe not. Your clothes aren't all that dirty. You're either a rookie trainer, or maybe you're just an ordinary kid. I'm roaming the land in search of talented trainers. I'm sorry to have taken your time. Hey! I'm a talented trainer. I'm a plenty talented trainer. I've got a squad of misfits right here, and I'm going to make them the best guys ever. Alright, Scott. Route 104. I actually think I want to skip the grass here, because I like the grass behind the, on the other side of the... So we're going to skip the grass for now. Not get that friend, head right on into the berries. Nice. Fantastic. Alright, I'm skipping the grass here, particularly because I like the grass on the other side of the woods better, and it has different guys. So that is why. And these are things Yeah, that guy was dissing. Yeah, Scott was dissing, and we're gonna show Scott who we are. We're gonna show Scott that we are the best trainer in the land. But, I think I'm gonna fight this one because she gives a lot of money. And we're gonna put Peter. Alright, let's do it. Peter, show her your zealotry. Oop. So it begins. Let's be careful of that tail whip. Use an attacking move. Or not. That's fine. Actually, that's a little spooky. I might wanna... Yeah, we're gonna switch. Get those attack and defense units off. Yeah, scratch. Yeah, Delilah's a monster. A pocket monster. You know, how much money does this woman give? 1,400, yeah. We're gonna go stock up on some Pokeballs, just because I never want to be lacking in the, You know what? I'm not gonna finish that sentence the way I was gonna finish it. Oh, man. Yep, still definitely a little bit sick. But that's fine. We'll recover. I'm resilient. I'm not old. Pop Mart. Buy some Pokeballs. That 10 I was talking about. Fantastic. Alright. Let's dance. Into the woods. Let's put Delilah back in front for yawning prowess. Alright, the Petalburg Woods. Let's see who our new friend is. It's a... Okay, that's actually incredibly useful. Thank goodness. I was really, really worried. But that's going to help us with one of the upcoming boss fights. One of the upcoming gyms. Alright, we're going to yawn. We know this hard song and dance. This is going to press Harden. Though, also, probably, again, not going to have... Actually, I can get it. Trockpod, thank you for the follow. Thanks for swinging by. We're playing some Pokemon. We're actually about to get to my favorite part of or favorite portion of stream, if I can catch this darn thing, which I should be. Oh, it has shed skin. That's problematic. Okay, yawn. Yep. Thank you for the follow, though. Appreciate you popping in. All right, throw ball. Get in the ball, please. Oh my goodness, let's just keep it. Do I risk the crit here? Do I risk the crit? Press yawn. Paul, you know what? Actually, I like Elijah. I like Paul a lot. For a reason that will become apparent once I level this guy up. Please get in the ball. Get in the ball. Get in the ball. But I need to catch it first. Thank you. Okay. Yes, I do. But we're going to get a little context. Right, switch on over to our naming setup here. So, we are in the book of Acts. We are going to Stephen has just one of the first voices of the Christian faith has just given a immaculate defense of the truth of the gospel to the resident Jews there. And he is going to well, let's go through what happens to Stephen and the character that we pick up with after the fact. This is the word of the Lord. Now when they had heard these things, they were enraged, and they ground their teeth at him. But he, full of the Holy Spirit, gazed into heaven and saw the glory of God, and Jesus standing at the right hand of God. And he said, Behold, I see the heavens open, and the Son of Man standing at the right hand of God. But they cried out with a loud voice, and stopped their ears, and rushed together. Then they cast him out of the city, and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their garments at the feet of the young man, Saul. And as they were stoning Stephen, he called out, Lord Jesus, receive my spirit. And falling to his knees, he cried out with a loud voice, Lord, do not hold this sin against them. And when he had said this, he fell asleep. And Saul approved of his execution. And there arose on that day a great persecution against the church in Jerusalem. They were all scattered throughout the regions of Judea and Samaria, except the apostles. Devout men buried Stephen and made great lamentation over him. But Saul was ravaging the church, and entering house after house, he dragged off men and women, and committed them to prison. Now, we're going to name this Silcoon. We're not going to name the Silcoon Saul. We're going to name it Paul, and we'll see why in just a moment here. But we will stay in this view, because I am going to pop over to some other scripture. So, the cool thing about bug Pokemon is that they, in the grand scheme of things, hit their evolutions, hit their power-ups pretty early. So if we just throw 5 levels on Paul here, Paul is evolving. Paul is going from this angry-looking cocoon into something a little more transformed, something a little more beautiful. So, let's see if we have a similar experience in Scripture. Conversion? I should know this off the top of my head. I mean, it's later in Acts. Fine, I'll Google it. I should know this. On the road to Tarsus? I should just look. We'll get there faster. Road to Damascus, yes. Excellent. All right, so just as our good Silcoon went into a transformation to something a little more beautiful, close, Elijah. It is Acts 9. But yeah, you're in. Yep, there you go. 9 it is. Alrighty. So just as our Silcoon went under a transformation of something a little angry and dejected and disheveled looking into something more beautiful, something very similar happened to Saul. This is the word of the Lord. But Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogue of Damascus, so that if he found any belonging to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Now as he went on his way, he approached Damascus, and suddenly a light from heaven shone around him. And falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying to him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And he said, Who are you? And he said, I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and enter the city, and you will be told what you are to do." The men who were traveling with him stood speechless, hearing the voice but seeing no one. Saul rose from the ground, and although his eyes were opened, he saw nothing. So they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And for 3 days he was without sight and neither praying. Now there was a disciple at Damascus named Ananias. The Lord said to him in a vision, "Ananias." And he said, "Here I am, Lord." And the Lord said to him, "Rise and go to the street called Straight, and at the house of Judas look for a man of Tarsus named Saul. For behold, he is praying. And he has seen in a vision a man named Ananias come and lay his hands on him so that he might regain his sight." But Ananias answered, "Lord, I have heard from many about this man, how much evil he has done to your saints at Jerusalem. And here he has authority from the chief priests to bind all who call your name." But the Lord said to him, "Go, for he is a chosen instrument of mine to carry my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how much he must suffer for the sake of my name." So Ananias departed and entered the house. And laying his hands on him, he said, "Brother Saul, the Lord Jesus, who appeared to you on the road by which you came, sent me, so that you may regain your sight and be filled with the Holy Spirit." And immediately something like scales fell from his eyes, and he regained his sight. Then he rose and was baptized, and taking food, was strengthened. Alrighty. So we aren't Paul's payoff is going to come a little later. We're still in a bit of a dire strait with our first boss here, but we will see that we will see how much suffering Paul is going to have to go through when we get to our second boss. But yeah, awesome. Okay, gang's looking good. We're going to lead Peter still here. Let's actually take everyone. We're getting close to. We can go up to 12, I think, on the gang. Just get some levels, because levels are stats, and stats are what keep us from the grave. I love Paul too. Paul's writings are just so like once you've kind of got a grasp of the Old Testament, going and just reading through Paul's writings and seeing him contextualizing all of these things that made, I mean, I'm not going to say they didn't make sense prior, but giving this Christian context to all of these, teachings that have always been Christian teachings is just so fantastic. And man, the guy is good with words. He is also not a fan of periods. He does not stop talking. He is a master of the run-on sentence. But yeah, I am a Paul fan as well, Heaven's Door, to say it shortly. All right. Let's swap our music back to that noise. Fantastic. Alrighty, and let's move. Oh man, we've got Peter and Paul. Let's go! We're robbing from one to pay the other. Oh, let's get back into bigger game layout. Ah, look at our beautiful team of misfits and a beautifly. Got a Pokeball. Nice. Paul sharked me. I'll say that much. Up. Oh boy. Sorry, bud. I'm gonna kill all your worms. Send them straight to the grave. Good work, Peter. Very zealous. Very good. Making short work of those worms. The worms do not die. Alright. Yeah. Oh man, this is way more fun than I thought it was going to be. Like, I'm loving the names. I'm loving the the theme of fellas that need some TLC before they are useful. Fellas that maybe need the Lord to work in them before they are going to be helpful to us. I got sick of waiting, so here I am. You, Devin Researcher, hand over those papers! Ah! You're a Pokemon trainer, aren't you? You gotta help me, please! Huh? What do you think you're doing? What, you're gonna protect him? Yeah, I am gonna protect him, because I am a Pokemon trainer. No one who crosses Team Aqua gets any mercy, not even a kid! Come on and battle me! Alright, bud. Your funeral. Here's Bucciano, Peter, and I'm gonna press tackle. Rob Peter and don't pay Paul. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay. I see it. I see the linguistic expression there. That's very cool. All right, we've defeated the Team Aqua run. You're kidding me! You're tough. Right now I got 180 Poké Dollars for winning. Grr, you've got some nerve meddling with Team Aqua. Come on and battle me again. I wish I could say that, but I'm out of Pokemon. And hey, we of Team Aqua are also after something in Rustboro. I'll let you go today. Well, thanks for the information, I guess. Thanks to you, he didn't rob me of these important papers. I know, I'll give you a great ball as my thanks. That is a great ball. And I put the great ball in the Pokeball's pocket. Didn't that Team Aqua thug say they were after something in Rustboro, too? Uh-oh, it's a crisis. I can't be wasting time. All right, later, sir. Glad to help you. Thank you for the, okay. Can I have... Yes, I can. Haha. Got an ether. That's very useful. Right. Gonna get out of this woods and into a new friend. Hello? I like filling my mouth with seeds, then spitting them out fast. You can have this, so you try it out. Use that Pokemon and we'll learn to move for firing seeds rapidly. Obtain the TM09. Can anyone... I doubt anyone... So, just so anyone is aware that are seeing this Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, Psychic, and Flamethrower in my bag, those are there to... so I don't have to gamble. Not that I have any compunctions about gambling in a Pokemon game, but it would be a colossal waste of time on stream, so I just kind of preloaded those up in my perfectly legal copy of Pokemon Emerald, which I am playing on my Game Boy Advance SP, which I have owned since childhood. So that's why those are there. But this Bullet Seed, let's see if we can teach that to anyone. Nope. Right, yeah. I mean, Elijah, it's that same effect like when I'm getting off the highway after going 60 or 70 miles per hour and I pull off onto a residential street. No, I got it. Don't worry. Same idea. Pokeball. All right. Oh, I should put my catcher in front here. I think as time is shaping up, I think we're gonna get our first boss battle right before end of stream here, which will be fantastic. And we can see if I just get wiped off the face of the earth, because right now I have literally 0 tools for her. And that's not gonna help. My goodness gracious. How many more chances do I have? I think I have only one more chance at something that might... oh, no. We might just wipe to her. Whatever. That would be a fantastic first stream, I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Get in the ball. Alright, so we're thinking on names. We're thinking on names. Alright. Alright, what do we know about Kakunas? It remains virtually immobile, clings to a tree. However, on the inside, visibly prepares for evolution. This is evident from how hot its shell becomes. Okay. Any thoughts, chat, on what we want to name this Kakuna, soon to be a Beedrill? Let me think on it. Let me start thinking of what we got here. Remains virtually immobile to a tree, however, on the inside, it visibly prepares for evolution. This is evident from how hot its shell becomes. Okay. Let's think. What would be a good name? I mean, nah, that's a name. We go to maybe we go to the Prophets for this. What Prophets? Who would be a good? Nah, not a Prophet. Well, maybe. You know what? Beedrill feels like a judge's character. But which? This one is a... I do like it. It's very on theme for what we're seeing here, but this one is a guy. And I do want to try and keep to male-female distinctions when we're naming these buddies. You know what? This guy's about to get knives for hands, and I kind of like the... Yeah. Okay, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna name him, and then we're gonna hit scripture. No worries, Elijah. Like, you are spot on. Like, that feels good. But we're gonna name this guy... Hoenn. And then, we're gonna reach into the candy stash, and we're gonna see why I need Hoenn. So we get to 10. Mashing buttons. Alright, 10 and boop. 3. Congratulations, you're eager to evolve into Beedrill. He's a stabber. This is the word of the Lord. And the people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord strengthened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done what was evil in the sight of the Lord. He gathered to himself the Ammonites and the Amalekites, and went and defeated Israel. And they took possession of the city of homes. And the people of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, for 18 years. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord, and the Lord raised up for them a deliverer, Ehud, the son of Gera, Benjaminite, a left-handed. The people of Israel sent tribute by him to Eglon, king of Moab. And Ehud made for himself a sword with 2 edges, a cubit in length, and he bound it on his right thigh under his clothes. And he presented the tribute to Eglon, king of Moab. Now Eglon was a very fat man. And when Ehud had finished presenting the tribute, he sent away the people who carried the tribute. But he himself turned back at the idols near Gilgal and said, I have a secret message for you, O king. And he commanded, silence. And all of his attendants went out of his presence. And Ehud came to him as he was sitting alone in his cool roof chamber. And Ehud said, I have a message from God for you. And he arose from his seat. And Ehud reached with his left hand, took the sword from his right thigh, and thrust it into his belly. And the hilt went in after the blade, and the fat closed over the blade. For he did not pull the sword out of his belly. And the dung came out. Then Ehud went out into the porch and closed the doors of the roof chamber behind him, locked them. When he had gone, the servants came. And when they saw the doors of the roof chamber were locked, they thought, surely he is relieving himself in the closet chamber. And they waited till they were embarrassed. But when he still did not open the doors of the roof chamber, they took the key and opened them. And there lay their lord, dead on the floor. So yeah, we named our Beedrill after a gut stabber, because that kind of seems like what a Beedrill would do. All right, he had learned Fury Attack. I mean, he was certainly furious. He could have been King Saul, always trying to stab David. I want to save Saul for a bigger player, because there's a lot we can do on Saul. But yes, absolutely. That would have been... oh, I can't run, can I? Oh boy, this could get tricky. I guess I'm just gonna go for it. Actually, I don't know if this is gonna have the moves I'm worried about. I think this just has charm. Man! Come on. Alright, there we go. That's what we're all about, Delilah. Alright. Let's... oh, we've got our first double battle. Should heal my guys up. Okay. Let's go with this. Ehud and Paul. Name a more iconic duo. You can't. Okay, let's see. This fellow. Yep. That lasts. And we go. Alright. When's Gina and Mia like to battle? Alright, Ehud and Paul. Let's show them what's what. Okay, Ehud. Great first showing, sir. Nice miss. I swear this will be the last time I try to stab you. And then he wakes up the next morning like, David's looking mighty stabbable this morning. Man. Okay, let's be careful. That C-Dot is biting, so we are going to, as it bites, not touch it. Because the last thing I want to do is blow up one of my guys. So we're just gonna both press harden here. Okay, we go for the throat. Go. Okay, we can take this guy out. Yes. Alrighty. Alright. 2 cherry berries, yes. 2 lepa berries, yes. What do you have, old woman? Thanks for the chest over here. Alright, okay. So, these next 2 encounters are very important, because the gym leader of this town, her name is Roxanne, and since Pokemon is so fantastic about naming, she uses rock types. Oh, I should go back to gaming. So I will note, nobody in our party has any sort of moves that are particularly good against rock-type Pokemon. And furthermore, half of our party is weak to, as in takes double damage from rock-type moves. So, we have two more friends, that we can pick up here before we encounter Roxanne. And if we don't get something good here, we might just be cooked. We might, we might wipe, but we shall see. The Lord will provide. I feel it. First, I gotta get through this. Indeed, Elijah. Roxanne. Anne with the rocks. Alright, so let's skirt here. Come on, lady. Fine. I'll fight you too. Ehud, you're gonna get your stabbing quota in today. And, okay. Ehud, you're not supposed to fall asleep while you're assassinating the king of Moab. Is all I'm saying. We're gonna go to Peter. Peter, I need you to kill this mushroom. How much damage are we taking? 3, so crit 6. So, sword still. Come on. Yeah, okay, good. Peter takes the day. Yes, you lost. Alright. Bag. Heal my guys with my total legal items. Right. Move right along. Okay, and there's... Okay, that... The Lord has provided. I just have to catch it. Get in the ball. Start thinking on names for this guy. Get in the ball. What moves does this guy have at this level? Check. Fighting move. Okay, to switch to Violet to get on off. He does not have a fight. So we go this to Sloth Woman. Tackle, awesome, yawn. Oop. Yeah, focus all you want. Now get in the ball. Right. We're gonna use the special ball. We're gonna one, two. Oh, come on! I need you. I need you for success. Come on. I don't... Well. What? Fine. I don't think a scratch drops this, right? Well, we'll find out. Okay. Would a crit kill? Yeah, I don't want to risk a crit killing. Alright. Get in the ball. 1, 2. Skittle diddle. Alrighty. Okay. Feeling much better about my Roxanne here. Alright, but we need a name for... Makuhita. It loves to toughen up its body above all else. If you hear quaking rumbles in a cave, it is the sound of Makuhita undertaking strenuous training. I will note that this guy's kind of got a sumo vibe. So, thoughts there. You know, I think this... Well, do we have any other... Do we have any, like... Yeah, I can think of one wrestler in the Bible. Yeah, okay, I've got my idea. I want to see an input from the chat, and I'll see if I like it better. Samson would be good. I like it. We could do Samson, but I'm thinking of a different wrestler. One who, just like this Makuhita, might provide salvation to this run, might eventually father salvation for an entire peoples. Yeah. Alrighty, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Genesis 32. All right. This is the word of the Lord. The same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream and everything else that he had. And Jacob was left alone. And a man wrestled with him until the break of the day. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled. Then he said, "Let me go, for the day has broken." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And he said to him, "What is your name?" And he said, "Jacob." Then he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked him, "Please tell me your name." But he said, "Why is it that you ask my name?" And there he blessed him. So Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, saying, "For I have seen God face to face, and yet my life has been delivered." The sun rose upon him and passed, Penuel limping, because of his hip. Therefore, to this day, the people of Israel do not eat the sinew of the thigh that hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip on the sinew of the thigh. Man, this is a good passage. I love this. I love how stubborn and how revealing of it is of Jacob's character. That he's got this guy grappled, and he's not gonna let this guy go. And this guy, God, potentially a Christophany, depending on who you ask. He's got his grip, and literally has his hip dislocated, and says, "No, I'm gonna hold on. You owe me something. I've won. Where is my blessing?" I don't know, man. Jacob is such a stubborn. Oh man, he's the right kind of stubborn. He's got that chutzpah, and that stubbornness, I think, is very clearly reflected as we follow his children and nation down through the centuries. Alrighty, so you're not gonna be. I'm not gonna name you Israel though. I'm gonna name you. Actually, Israel means wrestles with God. Yeah, we're gonna name you Israel. Fan tucking fantastic. Alright. Israel is in that box. Can I take out this rock guy? I think I can. You know what? Let's run a risk. I think we're good. I think we just one-hit kill here. Yeah, we do. Oh, let's go back to our gaming setup. I need like a hotkey for that or something. Alright. Take that, Clark. Didn't I just fight you? Oh no, I just caught a guy. Okay. Ehud. Let's stab a mushroom. Right. Come on, Ehud. Come on, Ehud. Get your act together, man. Come on, man. Don't do me like this. 2, 3. God, could I gotten a 4 hit there? Come on. Alright. Yeah, we'll go a little over on stream and use this. We'll finish stream off with a boss fight with Roxanne. That sounds good. Let's go all here. I'll absorb you right back. You're gonna slurp me? I'm gonna slurp you, dude. Skip him. Awesome. Grab this. Some monies. Let's put our catcher in front here. We get one more friend, and then we got our boss fight. And then I think we're gonna be calling to the stream. But boy, howdy, this has been a blast. Okay. Store. Let's heal Ehud too while we're at it. Alright. Hop on in. Alright, here's our last friend before Roxanne. Let's see if it's another helpful buddy. It's a rat. Okay, so our saving grace against Roxanne, I think fittingly, is Israel. Alright. Alright, Brad, get in the ball. Get thinking on names for a rat. Oh, we can use let's use the fellow from let's use the fellow from 2 Samuel 20 earlier. Welcome back. The only Pluver, the only tool we have for Roxanne, and I think it's gonna be enough, is a Makuhita. I don't know. I don't know what this Rattata is yet, but first we gotta name it. And we're gonna name it after a rat from I believe it was, yes, 2 Samuel 20. The Rebellion of Sheba. This is the word of the Lord. Now there happened to be there a worthless man, whose name was Sheba, the son of Betri of Benjamin. And he blew the trumpet and said, We have no portion in David, we have no inheritance in the son of Jesse. Every man to his tent, O Israel. So the men of Israel withdrew from David and followed Sheba the son of Betri. But the men of Judah followed their king steadfastly from the Jordan to Jerusalem. And David came to his house at Jerusalem. And the king took the 10 concubines whom he had left to care for the house, and put them up under the house and garden provided for them, but did not go into them. So they were shut up until the day of their death, living as if in widow. I don't think we're going to get much more of Sheba here. Yeah, he's a worthless guy, but he's also a rat. And he's a rat that did a kind of initial little splitting of the kingdoms that would later be reflected in the, splitting of the kingdom of Israel that would occur after the reign of Solomon. So, we get a little sneak taste here. But yeah, this fella, his name is Sheba. He's worthless, and he's a rat. And, that's not to say that he'll be worthless. Sheb it is. I'll fix that in post. We will get that A added on. Don't worry. All right. So yeah, Pluver, welcome back. We are, that would have been whatever. No need. There is no need to focus on what could have been. We will take what we got, and we will be grateful for it. I think that the Makuhita is going to be our saving grace, to get us through Roxanne. I hope he learns a fighting move before, Alright, let's get our party stacked up. We're gonna throw Israel in over... You know what? I mean, it's gotta be the fish. The fish are actually not going to do anything in this fight. So, even if we've got 4X's on other folks, the fish go in the box. Alright, let's get back to our gaming overlay. Gaming. Alright, there's our party. And don't worry, we will get Shub's A added on in post. But for now, he is Shub. And no one can learn this, right? Just so we're clear? Okay, because that would trivialize things. Alright, let's get folks up to 15. Do I want to take the... Okay, slack off is actually huge. 13, 14, 15. Focus energy, not bad. Please learn a fighting move, my dude. Okay, arm thrust. Okay. I think we can make this work. 13, 14. Oh, final oh my goodness. Oh, we are set. All right. Chib. All right. 11, 12, 13. Hyperfang would be great if we weren't going into a gym full of rock types. 15. All right, Peter. Are you going to learn anything besides tackle? Nope. Peter goes for the legs. And Paul can give us a clutch, absorb, and maybe die. Though, hopefully he doesn't need to. Brawly is going to be a... Yeah, Brawly is not going to be a problem. We are set. Roxanne is literally our barrier here. We're gonna do... I'm not gonna stop game. I'm just gonna do a little bit of this nonsense. Give ourselves the best chance of victory. So I can't over-level before I fight the gym leader. But what I can do is set my guys up such that when they are fighting the gym leader... What? I don't think I can kill this. Oh my goodness. What is this grass full of? So what I can do is set my guys up such that when we are fighting the gym leader, they can level up in that fight and thus not break the rules. So I'm going to do that for Israel and probably Delilah, just to get them to the point where, they can catch a level mid-fight, and thus just ever so slightly. Wow, opposing Makuhita give a lot of experience. LOL. Literally cannot kill that. That is very, very funny that that's in this grass. Okay, stop. It's funny. Okay, it's not funny anymore. Stop it. Alright. Give me another Makuhita, please. Okay, so it is actually... The fact that we got Israel out of this grass is actually looking like it was a rather providential occurrence, because we are not seeing more of his kind. But he does give good experience. Okay, I should probably only do a couple more. Yeah, okay. Yep. One more. That might be. Let's because I know it's. Come on. Come on, Delilah. There you go. How much experience do you have now? 56. Yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, we were gonna check if this guy was guts. He does have guts, so we can abuse that. Good. Are you? Is Israel guts too? It would make sense that Israel has guts. That's really funny. Okay. So let's switch. Let's do some power leveling on Delilah here. But yeah, thoughts on... honestly, first stream has been fantastic. I've been having a blast. I don't know about y'all. I was worried about being able to talk for 3 hours, but I've basically been a non-stop stream of noise, which, knowing me, thinking about me, actually, that's not that hard to believe. But, is, yeah. If anybody has feedback, thoughts, etc. Wait. What am I waiting for? Oh. Brilliant. We should poison Israel. Yes. If there is another worm. Yeah, because that will just trivialize things. That's good thinking. I might have exhausted my bug catchers. Shoot! Well, we'll see. I don't think we need it, but it would be good to have. Yeah, I think we're fine. I literally think we at one point, you and I did this sweep with a Makuhita. Vital Throw is 70 base power fighting. That's gonna get us most of the way there, I think. Yeah, congrats, I'm encored. Do you have guys, actually, lady? Right. Oh, I'm ready for you. And up you and ups. How? So this is a preview of what this gym would have looked like if we did not have if we had not picked up Israel. I actually think Slackoff can probably make this upcoming gym happen, simply because I have Slackoff as a tool. Speaking of which, better safe than sorry. Man, Pokelink is super duper. Oh, Pluver, I don't think you were here when it did the catching it tutorial for Zigzagoon. Or for Ralts. The Noseblast does have block, yes. We're gonna wanna... Does this have rock moves? No, it doesn't. Absorb. Oh no! Whoops! Well, I'm cooked. I was not paying attention. Alright. Snubble. Somehow. Vital Throw carry. Vital Throw's gonna have to carry, man. I just want to check real quick if we can find anything with a Poison Sting here real quick. That's not gonna have it. That's not gonna have it. Kill it. Why are there why nots everywhere? That's not gonna have it. Would have been useful. Alright, we're gonna call that good. Okay. Alright, Vital Throw carry it is. We have made Delilah illegal for this gym because of my foolhardy nature. So we'll grab Jonah instead. Sorry, Delilah. You might have been clutch, kind of. Okay. Alright, we'll call it good. 15. Hey, Jonah learned Tackle. Jonah can actually press buttons that do damage. Alright. It's do or die time. Focus up, gang. We got a gym to... Why are there why not? Why not indeed? Why not indeed, Caleb? Why not indeed? Alright. This is where we learn if we have to do this all again on Saturday. Give Oren thank you. Pliver, thank you for being here to remind me of the habits that I cultivated. Give Oren to everybody. Well, let's give Oren here and here. Here. And I guess to... yeah, let's just give this. Alright. Do or die time! Hello, I am... You know what? For this, let's, stop this music. And let's go with the... let me just bring up the menu on my perfectly legal Game Boy Advance here. And go into sound settings. Oh, actually, you can't see that. Never mind. I'm just turning the volume up on my Game Boy Advance. That's too loud. Game Boy Advance. Let's turn that down a bit. Alright. Hello, I am Roxanne, the Rustboro Pokemon Gym Leader. I became a gym leader so that I might apply what I learned at the Pokemon Trainer School in battle. Would you kindly demonstrate how you battle and with which Pokemon? Gladly. Let's dance. Alright, gang. This is either going to be super duper easy and not a problem, or we are cooked 6 ways from Sunday. Israel, will you be the salvific nation we need? I kind of want to rip a focus energy here. Yeah, I'm going to. Crits are going to matter if things start hardening on me. Okay, we don't actually... Let's see how much damage this is. Oh! Fighting resists rock! I forgot about that. Yeah, we are good, gang. Potion turn, that's fine. Arm Thrust might actually kill from here, depending on how many hits we get. And they're all increased crit ratio, too. That's not bad, actually, too. Alright, awesome. Geodude down. Alright, Israel. Give her the wrestle. We got this. Alright. Oh, this is... I'm having a blast, gang. Alright. Boost that defense all you want. I'm eventually gonna crit, man. And all those defense boosts ain't gonna matter. Oh, wow. She potions there? Really? Okay. Come on, come on. Great. Alright. Yeah, this, we sorely needed this Makihita, though. I do not think we walked out of this gym alive without him. So, that salvific Uh-oh. Alright, Israel. Show me what you got. Pretty good. You gonna eat your berry, Israel? No, we're not low enough. Come on, give me that crit. Give me that crit to seal the deal. No? Now we're gonna eat our berry. Our mana from heaven. Oh no, I can't switch. Oh, you're not stuck in here with Israel. Or Israel's not stuck in here with you, man. You're stuck in here with Israel. Fantastic. And just like that, everyone, we have our first badge on our Logoslocke. And only about 10 minutes past when I normally wanted to end stream. So, I lost. It seems that I still have much more to learn. I understand. The Pokemon League's rules state that trainers are to be given this if they defeat a gym leader. Please accept the official Pokemon League Stone Badge. 1500 for winning. Stone Badge, which I think increases all of my Pokemon's attack, which is good. Yep, there it is. Cutouts. Oh, I do have to pick up Cut. And I get a TM for Rock Tomb. Nice. Alrighty. We will save our game. We will close our game. We will pop our music back on. Just chatting overlay. And I will say to you all, thank you for stopping in. This has been my first, I guess, my first stream past debut. My first stream where I'm kind of doing the kind of content I expect to be doing, at least for the foreseeable future, which, again, is just going to be, you know, Bible studies into comfort games. And that comfort game right now is Pokemon, and likely will be Pokemon for a while yet. So, you know, if it's your jam or if it's not, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I had a blast, and I think I'm gonna be having a lot of fun with this going forward. So I've already got some ideas for how to improve. I'm definitely gonna be getting some of those you know, trappings of the bigger streamers set up in terms of channel rewards and whatnot. But you know, I gotta take things slow for now. What you see is what you're gonna get. But thanks again for swinging by. Until next time, everybody. This has been Rainai Paragonic, and I'm wishing you all a Paragonic Renaissance. You know, actually, etiquette-wise, I'm supposed to raid, I think. How does one do that? I've never raided on Twitch before. Can I raid on Twitch? Well, let's find out. We're gonna go... You know what? Let's hit up Hales. Where's my chat? If we can. I have no idea if I have permissions or size or whatnot to do this, but we shall see. Yep, awesome. Okay, well, anybody still here? We've got three-ish. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, okay. I did my goodbye already. So you know what? One more time for good measure. Until next time, everybody. This has been Rainai Paragonic, wishing you all a Paragonic Renaissance.
two friends. To think, less than a week ago, we were seeing each other in person. Hope you're doing well. Turn the light volume down just a little. Okay. We are taking a photo. Hey, hey, hey! What'd you play? How was stream? I'm doing pretty good. Let's see, we're gonna save this photo too. There we go. Those are my two photos. And now I can take up the mushrooms because I am going to leave the photo alone because I actually liked it. Pokemon Emerald. Ooh. I haven't played any Pokemons except Pokemon Go. I did a lot of that. I also just got done walking a little bit on the treadmill while we streamed. I did a little over a mile. I was feeling a little not great earlier, so I was like, moving my body might make me feel just a little bit better, and it did. It did do that. So that was nice.